What's up, guys? It's the real main event, the Rogue Soldier, the essential John L. Crossfire.
And I'm Mrs. Crossfire.
And once again, you guys are tuned into Caught
in Conversation. Shakalaka-laka.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 74 of Caught in Conversation. This is going to be the third installment of my Mark-A-Palooza series, and joining me once again in true wrestling fashion, she was booked, she was unbooked, and now she's been booked again. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Mrs. Crossfire.
Hey! What's up, guys? Shakalaka-laka.
So, as we record this, it is currently about 9:30 on Friday night. We both have vanilla lattes sitting in front of us, so probably not going to sleep, and this could be a very interesting episode. But first and foremost, happy Thanksgiving to my, no, I don't want to say fans, that sounds pompous, but happy Thanksgiving to my listeners in the US. I do have a couple of US listeners that pop up here and there, so to whoever you are, happy Thanksgiving and enjoy your turkey. I'm kind of glad that Australia doesn't have Thanksgiving, to be honest, because I'm not a fan of turkey, but I suppose you could always just double up on ham, couldn't you? First and foremost, we'll get straight into the song of the week. I'll do the match of the week after we've done our Mark-A-Palooza cards, but the song of the week this week, Mrs. Crossfire, you're probably sick of hearing it at this point. It's Survivor by All Good Things. It's a dope as fuck cover of the Christina Aguilera song of the same name. There's also a dope cover by State of Mind featuring Eva Underfire as well if you're in the mood. But the official song of the week this week, I figured it was fitting for a Survivor series themed episode. The song of the week will be Survivor by All Good Things. Now, Mrs. Crossfire, I've seen you working diligently all day. I'm sorry you were trying to sip on your coffee. Continue sipping your coffee while I ask this question, but you kind of literally last night, you were like, oh, I've got time to do it now, and you've literally just put your entire card together in the space of about 3 hours max.
Yeah.
So. And you haven't.
Shit, I'm sorry.
And you still haven't let me see any of it.
No. How the hell would I?
It's taken me a whole day to do it, but it was mainly just because of the writing. I had it all in my head and blah, 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 because there was things I wanted to do that couldn't do, and we'll get to that as we divulge the card. But I think we should just jump straight into the card if you want. If you're ready, you're rocking, you're rolling.
Yep.
As
okay.
always, as I said on these Mark-A-Palooza episodes, whoever my co-host is, a lot of the times it's going to be you because we're filthy fucking marks, and that's what we do. The co-host will go first, just out of common courtesy, because I'm just such a gentleman. So,
yeah. You better not be stealing my ideas.
That's a no from Mrs. Crossfire. Yeah, so you'll do the match first, and then when we get to the predictions, I'll read the matches out. I'll let you go first as well. But I've got all my notes in front of me. My vision is a little bit blurry right now, so if I stutter all over my words, worse than usual, on top of the fact that I have a fucking latte in front of me, please forgive me. But are you ready, Mrs. Crossfire?
Yep. Ready as you can be, I guess.
Let's rock, let's roll. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Mrs. Crossfire's opening match.
Okay, so my opening match
For War Games.
War Games?
It's Survivor Series War Games.
I was like, well, it's not starting off with a War Games match. Let's just say that. So how I plan on opening it is a men's battle royal.
Should I go through the rules? I did post them on my social media, but
they can just go and look. That way they can view your social media while they're at
well, it's on my Instagram story,
Keep
so it
updated.
has expired, but basically, real quick, I'm not going to read through the whole thing. I was going to, but my bad, Mrs. Crossfire, I cut you off. The coffee kind of...
As per
Again,
usual.
I literally have it here. It says go through the rules, but I've scrolled past the song of the week, to the Mark-A-Palooza card, and then I bumped my screen, and it was like, the rules literally jumped out of me. But yeah, basically, it's not going to be super crazy like the ones that we did do previously. I stuck to the rules. I'm like, we'll use the current rosters as a base. We can call people up from NXT if you want. You can use people that are injured or free agents if they're not currently signed, as long as it is realistic enough. And then the only thing was that all the current champions had to be the same. There was a rule, and spoiler alert, I don't know who it is or what it is. You've already told me you're going to break the rules, because I said, no one is to pull double duties, run-ins not included, and you've gone, fuck you, it's my Mark-A-Palooza card, someone's doing double duty. So, looking forward to seeing who that's going to be. But that's what just made me think of that. I'm like, no, I needed to throw that in there, that straight off the bat, Mrs. Crossfire went, fuck your rules.
Fuck your rules, bitch. I'm turning heel on your ass and your rules.
Your opening match, Mrs. Crossfire, for War Games is a battle royal. It's a very Survivor Series themed matchup, I guess.
Yeah, so it's a weird battle royal again, like probably very similar to the one I've had before. I did do one last time.
Because wasn't your pre-show match on your last Survivor Series the battle royal?
Yeah, so but this one is a little bit more
got a little bit more oomph behind it.
Yeah, it's a little bit more refined. So
I'm gonna sip my coffee while you talk.
So we've got 12 guys, right? So it's a men's battle royal. We've got 12 guys.
12-man battle royal over the top, or?
Yeah, so over the top. So first, so I'm gonna go through so what I've done is so there's 4 guys per team. It's technically teams, which seems really weird.
So you got, is it Raw, SmackDown, NXT?
Yeah. So I'm going to start with NXT first. So you've got Axiom.
Yes. I fucking love that gimmick, by the way. I don't want to get sidetracked too much. We've already said that we don't want to get sidetracked more than we usually do, but that is copying so much flack online, and I don't understand why.
Yeah, I love him.
That's all I'm going to say. Good. Continue.
But yeah, I got Axiom, Grayson Waller.
Yeah, my boy.
Gacy.
My other boy.
And Nathan Fraser.
My other boy. They're all my boys. All 4 of them.
And then for Raw, we've got Cody Rhodes.
Adrenaline in my soul.
Then we've got Finn Balor.
Ooh. Nice.
And then Seth.
Okay, US champ, Seth Rollins.
Yeah. And then we've got Dominic.
Ooh, so we got 2 members of the Judgment Day there.
Yeah. So I've got them both for the Raw team. And then for the SmackDown team, we've got Karrion Kross, Bray Wyatt, LA Knight.
I'm just waiting for the internet to be like, why would you put Bray Wyatt in the battle royal?
Because he wants to be in it. There's a reason. Shut up, bitches.
I just wanted to get in before everyone else
There is
did.
a freaking reason. Just listen. Okay. And then we've got Solo Sikoa.
Solo Sikoa. I still think they should change his name to Sikoa Uso.
So I hear you say, why is Bray in it? You'll find out. Shut up, bitches. Okay.
Mrs. Crossfire is just heel turning.
I don't care. I hate the internet. Fuck the internet.
Not even 10 minutes in and she's like, fuck y'all.
Fuck y'all. Fuck the internet.
But please still listen to the end. But fuck y'all.
Anyway. I don't know why I had an accent, but anyway.
That coffee's hit you already, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Continue.
So, yeah. So the teams are made up from different brands, and then the winner gets bragging rights to represent their team. So whether it be NXT, Raw, or SmackDown, later in a 3-way title match, and it is title match. That's later in the card. So you're gonna have Roman, and you're gonna have Braun Breaker, and then you're gonna have a contender. And the contender is whoever wins this battle royal. So it sets up the whole night.
You going to unify the NXT and WWE titles? Or?
No, this person's just going to have to fucking try and defend possibly all 3 of them.
Nice.
So whoever gets it, they're going to have, like, the 3 titles.
So is Seth's US title on the line here to make it the 3rd title, or? Oh, you can't know 3 titles because Roman has...
Yeah, Roman has 2.
You're counting the 2... Okay.
Yeah.
I see what you've done.
So we've got that.
So they're going to win the NXT and the undisputed WWE.
Yeah.
God damn.
And see, when you look at it, Solo Sikoa is in this match. Why is he in this match? Ask Roman. Right? He just wants Solo Sikoa to bow down and help him fucking win.
In effect, it'll be a triple threat, but... It's a handicap match, but is it really brother? I get you. Continue this.
Okay.
I'm with you now. I'm digging this.
Yeah. So everyone essentially gets their shit in like any battle royal.
Brother.
So the NXT team starts off strong, trying to eliminate Raw and SmackDown members. Axiom, unfortunately, is the first eliminated by Seth. Because Seth is just seeing gold right now. He's a little bitch for the gold.
Seth Rollins wants to walk out of the fucking pay-per-view with 4 championships.
Yeah. He wants to be the man. The freaking Seth Rollins.
Fucking oath. US, WWE, Universal, NXT champion.
And then as Bray and LA Knight have tension, because LA Knight's in this as well, and currently they have a feud going on at the moment. And they continue to fight. Gacy sneaks up and eliminates Bray and LA Knight. Yep, that's right. Lose your shit, internet. Gacy does it.
You eliminated Bray Wyatt.
And then...
Shut the fuck up.
And then Solo, unfortunately, is eliminated by Dom of all people.
Oh.
So that's just to set up something like... I just wanted to do that to kind of set up like a potential feud later down the track.
That works on many levels though, because before Dom turned on heel, you had the Bloodline feuding with Mysterios.
Yeah.
That could then now tease the Bloodline versus the Judgment Day.
Yeah.
Roman has history with Finn. He's the only person to beat the Demon on the main roster, and people still say that was a burial, and that was what, almost 2 years ago.
So that's also also sets up tension. This pisses Roman off, not only at Dom, but Solo for being
Solo
a weak
let him down.
He let him down. He was supposed to be the man that wins this.
Well, he's
to
like
help
the enforcer of the Bloodline, so...
Yeah, he was supposed
I dig it.
He was supposed to help Roman win and keep the gold, as well as just obtain another piece of gold, so it can be that tribal chief, you know?
Acknowledgement. Continue.
So then that leaves only Cross is left from the SmackDown team. Gacy then eliminates Fraser.
Okay.
And then Grayson is giving shit and cheek to Fraser, which is just typically fucking him.
Grayson
really.
Waller running his mouth.
Yeah, running his mouth, being a little bitch. And just, running his mouth at Fraser for being eliminated and kind of like rubbing it in like, haha, I'm still here and I'm still on the NXT team. And then...
He's not paying attention.
And then Gacy eliminates Grayson because...
And Gacy getting all the eliminations here tonight. Jesus.
Because Fraser interferes and he's giving shit back to him, so then he's just not paying attention. So then,
Gacy just dumps him over.
Gacy dumps him over.
Thank you, fuck you, bye.
Thank you, fuck you, bye. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Like,
it's like
Team NXT,
like we're representing our brand, but it's every man for himself.
We're every man for ourselves, man. Like, this is what's going on.
It's the NXT contingent. It doesn't mean a damn thing when there's one winner at the end.
Yeah. So now only Gacy is left from Team NXT. So then Seth takes out Dom. So it's bringing back when...
A little bit of history there.
Bit of history, psychology going on.
I see what's going on.
Because even though that Seth and Dom are on the same team, he doesn't care. Again, Seth's just got his eyes for that damn goal. It's a contingent.
It's still every man for themselves.
Yeah.
I was expecting you to have Dom or Finn eliminate like one or the other, but I dig that.
Yeah, because that's what's expected. That's why I'm doing this shit.
So it's like it's still his own team, but it's not at the same time.
Yeah.
You've really Vince Russo'd the shit out of this battle royal.
I always
fucking
do
love
that.
it.
I always fucking do that, don't I? This is the only match I've planned out to a T as well. Everything else I'm going to fucking freeball, so that's going to be fun. Anyway, getting back to it.
So you know who's winning and it's like on the spot. This move, okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
Fuck yeah.
So Seth takes out Dom because, he wants his eye on the gold. And then, where am I up to? Oh, and then this infuriates Finn that his fellow member of the Judgment Day had been taken out.
Okay.
So
a lot of history between Finn and Seth as well.
Yeah. So he attempts to eliminate Seth by then, attempts to eliminate Seth, but then it doesn't work. It just goes south kind of thing. You can't eliminate him. But then Gacy comes in with Finn and helps him eliminate fucking Seth.
Can I just say, the schism working with the Judgment Day, whether teaming or facing each other, would be absolute fucking moisture.
You're probably gonna
Shout out to the people that hate that word, but like, yes!
You're probably gonna
Yes!
You're probably gonna get super mad in a minute then.
You're gonna have one eliminate the other. That's fine. I'm just saying, the
No,
idea of that in real life...
You hold on there, buddy. You hold on. So, then Finn has actually been keeping his eyes for the last few weeks on Gacy since he's come up to the main roster and been a lone wolf.
Oh no! Here, they recycled their NXT gimmicks to had a good thing and they ruined it there.
So now he's like kind of like a lone wolf and he's on his own and he's not part of his little team anymore. So he's all on his own.
'Cause I'm alone.
So while that's happening, while they're having a bit of a stare down and like, you know, giving each other, making them his eyes, seeing, you know, Finn's trying to win over Gacy. Because Gacy has been eliminating everyone nearly the whole match. Yes. So he's been going pretty freaking strong. So Finn's like, we need him. We need him for the Judgment Day. Especially now Dom's a bit of a weak link and fucking been eliminated.
I dig it.
So then Cross and Cody have been going back and forth when suddenly... Dun, dun, dun!
The joys of a battle royal. You're trying to keep your eye on something and all this shit's happening in the background. It's fine.
Yeah.
Use your imagination. They're doing shit.
When suddenly... Bray rolls out from under the ring. He wasn't eliminated. He rolled under. Didn't go over. He was under. So then he's rolled back under the ring to just chill under there while shit's going south.
So he's on the apron and old mates thought that, yeah, okay, I got you.
Yeah. So he's just gone, oh yeah. Because he got eliminated at the same time as... I'm trying to remember who was with.
LA Knight.
Yeah, LA Knight.
So LA Knight went over the top rope. Amongst all the chaos, they didn't realise that Bray... didn't actually go over.
Too much shit was going on. Everyone was getting the shit in.
Swerve, bro.
Yeah, swerve, bro.
Okay.
Then he comes in. He's all well rested and eliminates Cross. Then there's a stare down between Finn, Bray, and Gacy. So
did Cross eliminate Cody amongst all of that? Did I get you flustered? Cody's still there?
No, not yet.
Just in the corner
while Cody rests in the corner to recover.
He dead.
He's trying to recover in the corner. Gacy then turns on Finn to help Bray. Mm-hmm. So he's like, fuck you and your Judgment Day. I ain't give a fuck. And because he's just like, I'm on fire. I'm eliminating fucking everyone. I'm just on fire. I'm coming in here and I'm wrecking shit up. But then Gacy is eliminated by Bray. Bray just swerved the fuck out of him.
I was literally about to say that. I'm like, does Bray just go, thank you, fuck you, bye?
Yeah.
Because he's starting to get now that he's more human, he's being more of a smartass.
Yeah.
Yes. Just like, oh yeah, gives him a big hug. Over you go.
Yes. And then...
Yes.
And then Cody eliminates Bray.
For real this time.
He's done. He's gone.
Cody and Finn, the last two men.
So then...
2 members of Monday Night Raw.
And then Cody... Actually, was Finn... No, Finn was eliminated. I'm pretty sure I eliminated Finn. Oh. Yeah, Gacy turned on Finn to eliminate him.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No, you're right. Yeah, so Gacy turned on Finn to eliminate him, and then he was like, yeah, I love you, Bray. I'm on with you,
that's right,
man.
yeah. And then Bray eliminates Gacy.
Yeah.
So the final two are Cody and Bray.
Yeah.
So Cody won by eliminating Bray. My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's all right. So then, that's when, shit hits the fan now, and Cody has to pull double duty, and he's already a bit beaten down. So that's going to be interesting.
You know what? I'll allow that. Because I said no double duty, but you've gone, here's this, and now he's going to the main event. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's the main event. I don't know.
Yeah, it is.
There's two War Games matches, so I don't know what order you've...
Yeah. So he's going to pull double duty later tonight to face Roman and Breaker for his chance at all the gold.
So Mrs. Crossfire's first match, 12-man Battle Royal winner Cody Rhodes.
Yep.
Advances to the main event.
Yep. And
we will recap the match cards at the end as well and just go match 1, match 2, match 3 without all the bells and whistles and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. So now, Now, it's just going to be a fucking shit show because I did not plan anything else.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, we're only 20 minutes in, so that's not too bad. Like, my first match, I'm kicking things off with one of the War Games matches. I did originally have something else planned as the opener, but I looked at it from like a realistic card standpoint, and I'm like, no, I need to split up the two War Games matches more than I have, because, spoiler alert, one of the other War Games match is not the main event, so I needed to give them as much time in between as I could, because I didn't want the crowd to be bored as fuck during one or the other. But I'm starting off specifically with the women's War Games match, and for this one, I have gone 5 versus 5. Spoiler alert, the men's one later on is only 4 versus 4. I have Candice LeRae, Alexa Bliss, Alba Fire, aka Kaylee Ray. She's made her main roster debut here. She's been on Raw for a couple of weeks now. Shotzi Blackheart, and the team captain is Rhea Ripley. And they are facing Becky Lynch, who is also the team captain, Bayley, Charlotte Flair. I know in real life she's been off TV, but here she's been back on SmackDown for a couple of weeks in Mark-A-Palooza land. We have Bianca Belair, and then the reason I included free agents was simply for my own personal gain, because this person's status is completely up in the air, and I don't know who or what the fuck is going on. And the final member of that team is Sasha Banks. So just to recap, that's match 1, women's War Game, and Alexa Bliss, Candice LeRae. I was looking at Alexa and Candice at the same time. Alexa Bliss. I actually wrote Alex Bliss. Fucking awesome typo. Alexa Bliss, Candice LeRae, Alba Fire, Shotzi and Rhea versus Becky, Bayley, Charlotte, Bianca, and Sasha. Mixture of heels and faces on both sides, and for the sake of saving time here, I'm going to leave that all for your discretion. You guys, as you're listening to this, can use your imagination, put together who's who. I don't fucking care. Team Rhea has the person advantage in this in the terms of rotation, and it starts off Candice and Bayley. The next person is Shotzi. The second person to enter for Team Becky is Bianca Belair. Then we have Alexa Bliss, followed by the team captain herself, being the third member for her team, Becky Lynch. Even in the odds, she hits Bexploders all around, all over the place. Alba Fire comes out at number 4 for her team. She has a baseball bat in one hand for herself, and a trash can filled with weapons, mainly kendo sticks and all that fun stuff, for the rest of her team. They take advantage with the weapons until Charlotte Flair enters fourth for her team. Flair boots the trash can lid into Alba Fire's face. Both teams just go back and forth. Crazy melee, kendo sticks all around, trash can. Just the typical War Game shit, as you said. Get your shit in, brother, brother, brother. Out comes Rhea Ripley. She's the final entrant for her team. And she has a steel chain wrapped around her fist because it's Rhea, that's her thing. She comes in, she throws a few more weapons into the ring before she climbs in there, including a couple of tables. And then she comes in and starts just punching bitches in the face with the chain wrapped around her fist. And then, just when you think it can't get any worse, Rhea reaches into her vest pocket and she pulls out a padlock. And she uses that chain to padlock the door shut while tapping her head and, making faces and doing all the cheesy fucking heel stuff that Rhea is doing absolutely fantastically in real life right now. The referees try as hard as they can to get it unlocked, but of course, in true wrestling fashion, because Rhea bought her own padlock, their key doesn't fit her padlock. It's a different brand, by God. Because wrestling, why not? And then the clock starts ticking. The final member of Team Becky is Sasha, and in this particular case, for the actual show, she is announced as a mystery opponent, and the crowd, being here in her hometown of Boston, comes absolutely unglued. Sasha tries to climb up this cage from the outside to get in because the door's locked, but you've got members of Team Rhea climbing up the inside of the cage. Keep knocking her down from the inside again. Take your pick which members it is. I don't give a fuck. I got no time to waste. Sasha then has a great idea of her own. She changes her strategy. She pulls out a ladder from under the ring and she uses it as a battering ram on the side of the cage to knock the members of Team Rhea down before climbing the ladder to get up to the top of the cage quicker and easier. And meanwhile in the ring, because, War Games has 2 rings, there's still more chaos unfolding, there's still more weapons flying. One of the tables has been set up, and Sasha enters the match officially, diving Meteora off the cage, sending Rhea crashing through the first table. That's your first real holy shit moment of the match. And Sasha cannot get the win, though, however, because Team Rhea just piles on. They make the save. More back and forth. Basically, everyone crashes and burn. Everyone takes a finisher here, takes a finisher there. Again, get your shit in, brother. Eventually, the second table is broken when Charlotte Flair moonsaults Candice LeRae through it. But Rhea sneaks in, hits a riptide on Charlotte. Alba Fire takes out Becky with the bat. Everyone else is still down from all the craziness. Sasha's down. Shotzi hits her with her diving senton. And then Alexa Bliss hits Sasha with Twisted Bliss. And in her return, Sasha Banks is pinned by Alexa Bliss. And straight off the bat from the opener, the crowd are absolutely pissed. Absolutely pissed. Because they had all these expectations and it was such a good match and they loved it. But their hometown girl lost clean in the middle of the ring. And it wasn't even the team captain. It was Alexa Bliss that did it. This kind of set off a little push for Alexa Bliss to kind of send her back to Bray Wyatt, by the way. That's a little fun fact.
Like that.
Overall, the match goes for about 30-ish minutes, solid opener. But yeah, the crowd's pissed, but they're still hot because it was just an absolute clusterfuck of violence. Match number 2, Mrs. Crossfire.
Nice. Alright, so this is where it's going to get a bit shit because I didn't really plan it out much, so I'm going to have to try and think while I'm on the spot, so that's going to be fun. So we've got a men's NXT tag match. So you've got Pretty Deadly, which are the current NXT champions, Kit and Elton, versus...
I can't remember what the fuck their old names are at this point.
Now this is gonna... Yeah, I can't remember their old names either. I just know them as Pretty Deadly.
What is it? Elton Prince and Kit Wilson?
Yeah, Kit Wilson. Versus, sorry.
Mrs. Crossfire's doing opera here for y'all.
Yes!
Pretty Deadly versus
Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
Ooh.
So
for the NXT
titles, just to have that little homage of their good old days in NXT.
Okay.
So essentially, pretty much it's just a battle out. Everyone's getting their shit in, getting finished.
There's going to be a lot of this because all these matches are multi-mans, and how else do you fucking plan a multi-man?
Yeah, well, like this one's just a tag, but yeah, everyone's getting this shit in. It's essentially Lucha rules as well. Oh fuck, sorry, I keep fucking yawning. Essentially, like Lucha rules and everything. So like they can just roll in, roll out, fucking do
just to make even more absolute fuckery.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because fuck that ref.
Fuck the refs, And then so it ends up resulting in Kevin Owens and Sami getting the win by Sami pulling a haluva kick on Kit.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's pretty basic, just a filler.
So Kevin Owens still not a Grand Slam champion because he still hasn't won the WWE tag titles. But him and Sami are the new NXT Tag Team Champions.
Yeah.
I can get behind that. Why the fuck not?
Yeah, why the fuck
Maybe
not?
they could unify them against the Usos later along. Who fucking knows?
Yeah. I was just like, yeah.
Honestly, though,
and the reason this is a thing is because Sami got kicked out of the Bloodline.
Oh.
He's not Usi enough anymore.
Well, spoiler alert, Sami's still part of the Bloodline in my land, so...
Well, he's not in
Fuck
mine.
your multiverse of madness.
He's not in mine.
Honestly, though, Pretty Deadly versus KO and Sami would be a fucking great match. So this is why I said, I went Raw and SmackDown. I've got a couple of NXT call-ups, but you're just a mark for the old school NXT, so I was kind of expecting you to throw some more NXT in there. And still survives. I dig it.
That's essentially what most of this is. Just saying. The only thing is it's gonna...
NXT TakeOver! War Games!
The only thing... when I think of War Games, that's what I think of is old NXT.
I am keen, though, and I'm glad that...
Undisputed Era.
With Mrs. Crossfire's new job, not to trail off too far, we can actually watch Survivor Series live now. Hopefully. Because we're going to have to use your hotspot, not mine, because my credit expires tomorrow. But that's another real life situation that needs to be sorted. Match number 2 for me is a Raw versus SmackDown. SmackDown versus Raw. Say it in whichever order you like. I don't really care. It was originally scheduled and announced as Edge representing Raw. He's back from injury in Mark-A-Palooza land. Versus Rey Mysterio representing SmackDown. A lot of history here between these two men. This is actually Edge's first match back. It was announced roughly about a month ago on Raw or SmackDown, whatever. And both Edge and Rey, they're kind of wanting to represent their respective brands while also having a battle of respect in the middle of it. Plus, they're trying to shake past the emotion from the events of the year that's just happened with Dominic's turn, and there's tension. So, basically they're going to beat the shit out of each other and, go have a beer afterwards, right? Seems like a good plan. Why not? Rey Mysterio is out first. Everyone's going nuts. They're really delaying hitting Edge's music, just to build it up. The You Think You Know Me hits. The crowd loses their fucking mind. But before Edge can even emerge from the smoke, all you see is a flying Dominic Mysterio come through the smoke. He's just smacked Edge clean in the back of the head. And the Judgment Day are here. Minus Rhea, because she just went through War Games. And they're beating the absolute dog shit out of Edge on the stage. Rey runs down the ramp, tries to make a save, but it's 3-on-1. They grab him pretty easily. Luckily, before they can do too much damage, the OC make the save. And now, for context, Dominic in this world has been faking an injury for the past few weeks, so he wasn't actually scheduled to appear on this show, whereas Finn and Priest are teaming with a couple of people to take on the OC and a couple of other people in a traditional Survivor Series match later on. Spoiler alert. So then, basically, Dominic cuts a promo and he says that he's miraculously healed and he's here to take Edge's spot, and of course, Rey's whole thing this whole time is he doesn't want to face his son, but now they're in the ring, there's a referee. He has no choice. He's being forced to fight his son because this is Raw versus SmackDown. They're now representing their respective brands on top of that. The bell rings, and for a solid 5 to 6 minutes, Dominic just kicks the shit out of Rey because Rey just refuses to hit back. He doesn't want to fight back. Eventually, the adrenaline starts pumping. He tries to make a comeback, goes for the 619. Dominic's like, mate, I've seen that move a million times. Ducks clean out of the way. Gets a bit too cocky, though. Rey gets him back into position. Hits the 619. Climbs up, points to the heaven, does the Addy shimmy. He's going to go for the frog splash. And then there's too much emotion between the fact that that's his son and he's trying to pay homage to Eddie. He literally climbs down, goes to another corner, and he literally sits in the corner and basically starts crying. The referee's trying to console him, asking him, does he want to forfeit? He doesn't want to forfeit the match because he doesn't want to let, he doesn't want to leave his brand around. It's SmackDown. While all this is happening, speaking of Eddie Guerrero, Dominic comes to, but he's playing a little possum. He's undoing the turnbuckle pad. The ref turns around. He's laying on the ground. Help me. He pulls himself up. Rey charges at him. Drop toe hold. Bang. It's the second buckle for context. Hits the exposed steel. Dominic quickly, does a real bodgy job of tying it back up. A la Eddie Guerrero. Monstrous brainbuster. 1-2. Somehow, Rey Mysterio kicks out. But Dominic climbs to the top rope, and he does the Eddie shimmy. Chorus of boos. They're chanting, fuck you, Dom. Asshole, everything. Hits the frog splash. 1, 2, 3. With the most laziest cover as well. A very Eddie Guerrero-esque, like kicking back, arm on his head, feet up. Literally just lays on him like a lawn chair. 1, 2, 3. And then for good measure, not only has Dominic just decimated his own father, Dominic rips the mask open.
Oh, shit.
Leaves Rey laying in the ring with a towel covering his face, carrying the ripped up mask as he goes. And again, the fans, they're pissed. 2 matches in a row now. They want blood. They're like, fuck you. Some fans are even throwing rubbish on him as he's walking up the ramp. There's a bit of blood dripping down the mask, and Dom's like, you're nothing.
Fuck yeah.
You're a deadbeat, blah, blah, blah. All the same stuff that he's been saying. Bell to bell, this match only goes for about 8 minutes, but the whole segment with the attack and on edge and everything goes for about 12 to 15 all up. But
Yep.
match 3, Mrs. Crossfire.
Alrighty, so, again, this is probably not going to be the best. I should have really wrote it out. I thought I could just spitball, but I'm not as good thinking on the spot as I thought I was. Anyway.
I think it's fine, as long as you've got, who's winning and who's in it, and...
Well, pretty much that's it. I just don't have a lot of the moves and stuff planned out like I would have liked.
It's fine. As I said, there's a couple of these where I've just gone, blah, 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 blah. And I think it's actually one of the next matches I'm about to do it, so...
Yeah. So for this one, match 3 is the women's War Games match.
Yes.
So I've got Legacies versus the Underdogs.
Okay, Legacies. I love that you always give your teams names. Team Miscellaneous.
Yeah.
Shout out Survivor Series 2021.
It was great. Miscellaneous.
Versus
Fantastic.
the Rocks or Rockstars.
Yeah.
Too much early 90s and late 80s Survivor Series for Mrs. Crossfire.
90s wrestling is the shit.
It's the Hulkamaniacs versus Ultimate Warriors. I don't think they actually had one together, but that was a thing they did.
Fucking 90s and early
The
2000s
Road Warriors teaming with Dusty. Was it? It's Hacksaw, and I think it's Dusty. It might have been someone else. But Hacksaw's got the Road Warrior face paint, but it's in the red, white, and blue.
Oh, man.
Continue. Match 3, Women's War Games Legacies versus, what did you say? Underdogs.
Yeah, the Underdogs.
Okay.
So I've got Charlotte. So, legacy of Ric Flair.
Is she the team captain for her team?
Yes. And then we've got Natalya.
Okay. I dig it.
And then we've got Ava Raine, which is The Rock's daughter.
The final girl, Ava Raine.
And then we have Tamina.
Okay, yep. Fucking Tamina replicating that Superfly splash.
And the last
top
one
of the cage.
is just a random filler one because I was like, fuck, I want to have 5 in the team. But who else is a legacy of one of the wrestlers? And this is where I found out that Elektra Lopez of NXT is the daughter of Steve King, aka Jose Rivera.
I did not know that she was there is also another second generation one that I don't know if you actually know this, but I thought you were going to say Carmella.
Oh, I knew
her
about
dad was a
Carmella
famous
too,
jobber back in the day.
But yeah, he was a famous jobber. I did see that.
Okay.
But I thought this would be a
Alright.
cool one to mix it up was because I didn't know.
I actually she's still really green. But
Yeah.
I'd love to see the dynamic between Elektra and Tamina. I know that that's really fucking random.
Yeah.
But for some reason, those two together makes a lot of sense. They're both big, powerful, strong women. I dig that.
And people were probably like, oh, she's green and you've put her in there. But
Because you asked me earlier, you're like, who's Jose Rivera? And I'm like,
he sounds
I've
really
heard that
familiar.
name. I'm like, what the fuck? Wow, I did
Yeah.
not know. They've probably mentioned it on commentary, but we dip in and out of NXT outside of this. But Deadline next month, we'll probably be watching that line because it's a full-blown takeover again. So keen as fuck for that.
Be
But,
good.
but yeah,
Yeah.
you've just blown my mind.
Yeah.
Continue, sorry.
So, because I just seen that. I seen that when I was looking
genuinely
it up.
did
And I
not
was
know
like,
that.
that's really cool. And I was like, Jose Rivera sounds really familiar. And he looks familiar when you look at things like he's had a lot of matches with Hulk Hogan and stuff back in the day. I think it's 80s, in the 80s.
Fuck
Yeah.
Cool. So Team Legacies versus the Underdogs.
Yeah, so the Underdogs, the team leader for the Underdogs is Becky.
Oh yes,
So Becky and Charlotte. Bit
the
of history.
man.
And then we've got Rhea. And then we've got Cora Jade. So she's a little bit... She's not green, but she's still little bit green
Her
enough
issue
to be...
is, and this is why I don't want to get sidetracked too much, but
you're
we've
right.
we're just on 40 minutes in, and you're about to do
My
your third
third?
match, so
Yeah.
that's really good. WWE went for this phase where it was athletes versus indie wrestlers. There was 2 different criteria, which Jeff Cobb actually told a story about that he was on the indie wrestler list, despite the fact that he was an actual Olympic fucking amateur wrestling, but that's neither here nor there. I think the issue with Cora Jade, and this is why, as much as people used to cuss out the old regime of Vince and stuff that I understand, I love indie wrestling. I'm fucking privileged to be part of it, even in the small portion that I am. But there is a very big difference, and this is where people say that WWE waters people down and this and that, between the WWE style and the independent professional wrestling style.
Yeah.
She's still
in the indie mindset.
She can tell that this feud lately that she just had with Roxanne, she has come leaps and bounds already, and Roxanne's another one she has adapted.
Yeah.
So insane to the WWE style, but she's very, very much, you can tell that I've said this on a few episodes with you, and you know how much I hate saying it, but Cora Jade wrestles like one of the boys, right?
Yeah.
Because she wants to wrestle, she wants to go, and she's still kind of finding that balance of reining it back in. But I can see what you mean. Like, she's not green, but she shows more why, a lot of the times they do like to build people from the ground up, unfortunately.
Yeah, so that's where I've tried to balance it
I apologize for that. It
right.
spurred something, and I'm like, this is something that people are always complaining about. And it's like, no, that there, out of nowhere, is the perfect example, because she's not green per se. She's a fantastic performer. Her promos are great. Her in-ring is great. But she just needs to... Yeah. Exactly. She just needs to stop. She needs to take that second. She needs to take that breath. Let it soak in. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. But yeah, so essentially what I try to do is have ones that were a bit more seasoned as such. So you got you had Charlotte and Natalia.
And then, Becky and Rhea can kind of give
and then
Cora some oomph, it's a multi-man, it's fine.
Then there was Tamina and I'm just going back through the legacy.
The opponents,
to kind of relate. So there was Charlotte, Natalia, and Tamina that I felt were really seasoned, but then you had Ava Raine and Elektra Lopez that weren't, they're not quite as seasoned as such. So they're still in NXT.
But this could almost, in Mark-A-Palooza land, whether it's Mark-A-Palooza real life, this right here, it's fucking Survivor Series. This is a breakout moment. Like, all three of these women so far that you've mentioned in Rain, Lopez, and now Cora Jade, this could be this could skyrocket.
Yeah. And this is what I mean. I'm putting them with some star-studded...
Cora Jade was actually in...
Superstars.
War Games. Like the last NXT one. And, again, she was fresh off the indies at that point, and in a way that actually worked into her favour in that style of matchup. But, yeah.
Yeah. So then I've also got Isla Dawn.
Okay, yes.
So, again, another NXT girl
that's... for her finally debuting the other week, though.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. And then we've got Liv Morgan, because what I was trying to do is the underdogs were a bit of an angsty kind of group, and then you had your more prissy kind of group, which is more... Like, the prodigies aren't as much, but, like, that's...
It's crazy that you've done that, though, because... It really, again, the way that you've done it, it harkens back to the original format of the old school elimination Survivor Series teams. Like, now some people would make sense, you've got a team of big guys, of heels versus Hogan and, Warrior and whoever the fuck, they faced, right? And it's, can they overcome the monsters? But then there's those oddball tag teams, and these aren't necessarily oddball tag teams because they're more similarities than not, but they're different enough. But it makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Especially with the underdogs. Legacies, obviously, that's their common bond. Okay, let's chuck them in there. But the underdogs, it's like, no. Becky Lynch and Cora Jade, people can scoff at that. But I can see that.
Yeah, and
I can see that.
Because they're underdogs.
Look at their careers,
they're people I see that it's like they have come from really nothing and built themselves up. And that's why I've kind of done that.
I took it.
So essentially, they're just all getting their shit in, beating each other up to all freaking no hell. But then the underdogs take the win.
Who gets the win on who?
So Becky gets the win on Charlotte. So it's bringing back that old homage to your divas.
I can see that.
Turning over to your actual superstars. So it's like, it's paying homage to that.
In true War Games fashion, I reckon she makes a tap out to the Disarmer. Because back in the day, we were watching classic War Games matches earlier. They didn't have the pinfall like WWE did. It was knockout or surrender, which it's war, right? But I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like, it would probably be a better all-out match. Like, I kind of left it to your imagination a bit more.
Again, it's not as detailed. We've literally... You've had a day to plan this, really, and by the time you get home from work, you had 3 hours to kind of put it together, and then we ate dinner, and now we're here. So...
Yeah.
No, that's fine.
So, like, I feel like the first match started off really strong because it was really planned out, but these ones are, like, a bit more thrown together.
That right there, like, it's not completely over the top. Like, the first one we did where you had Roman and fucking Big E and they were unifying stuff in the TLC.
Yeah, I was marking out.
That's dope shit. That's the stuff that I love.
That's the whole point of this.
And then, of course, the Mark-A-Palooza we did with Shane and Slaying for the Rumble. That was just... Well, the men's one was a bit... Like, of course, obviously, having Hacksaw Jim Duggan in there, which there was the running joke, was a bit ridiculous. But for the most part, we honed that in. But then with the women's, because the roster was so small at that time, we just went, let's have every fucking woman ever that's dead, alive, whatever. And we had so much fun with that. And the funny thing is, the weird thing is, like, that is both realistic and fantasy at the same time.
Yeah.
Because again, like, Cora Jade, she's coming up, teaming with Becky, this, that, whatever. Yeah, it's not going to happen this coming week, right? As we record this for the actual Survivor Series. But it's not too far out of the realm of possibility, but it's still maintaining the aspect of, let's dig into the cockles of my little Mark heart and see what I can pull out. I'm honestly, you blew my mind with that fact about Elektra Lopez. And those teams, though, just on paper, you look at that on paper, if that was a real fucking run sheet, I would be like, fuck yes, Mrs. Crossfire, we got to watch War Games because this is going to be a fucking banger.
And that's why I just thought
1000%.
I'd explain it a bit.
1000%.
Because I was like, people might be like, oh, Elektra Lopez. But I'm like, no, like, I'll literally discuss it a bit. And when you look at it, you've got a mix of everyone in there. You've got your flippy shit. You've got your bigger girls. You've got freaking your legacy kind of like, not legacy, I should say, but like your more seasoned, like veterans, I guess.
Veterans, basically.
Yeah, you got your veterans. You got Becky and Charlotte, and like Natalia and like Tamina and that. So it's like it's just a really nice blend. But then you've got your fresh new talent in there too. I just feel like
Elektra is another one though where she was on the Indies for a little bit, but again, much like Cora, maybe she's like I'm not the biggest fan of her because she does seem a little bit green, but
yeah,
there's always room for improvement. There's always room to get better, and maybe that's what it is. Maybe she's trying to get used again to the WWE style. I'll give anyone the benefit of the doubt. That's the reason where, regardless of how many heights NXT reaches, why we have this argument of, oh, but Triple H said that they beat the developmental, but then he said it was a third brand. It's like, no, it had become a third brand, but contractually, at the end of the day, at its core, it's still developmental. So for me to watch NXT, like Von Wagner, right? I look at him and I'm like, he's just a fucking another big dude, but I can see the potential that's there.
Yeah.
The thing that gets me is that just, I feel like, I'm just a mark on the microphone. I feel like he should have already reached a bit more potential than he already has. That's completely unrelated, but I feel like it was kind of tied in at the same time. But Legacies versus Underdogs, Becky Lynch makes Charlotte Flair tap out. Yeah. I dig the fuck out of that.
Yeah.
Match number 3 for me, you're going to have to get number 4 ready because I'm literally about to fly through this.
Okay, it's ready.
My third match, the Messiah, Seth Rollins, defending the United States Championship against Mustafa Ali.
Okay.
They go just under 18 minutes. The finish comes. Ali's on top. He goes for his 450 splash. Seth rolls out of the way. Hits a curb stomp off the second rope just to put the point home. Because, you know, Ali's beat the shit out of him. So in a way, he's earned his respect as well. So he has to come off the second with that curb stomp to retain the United States Championship in an absolute banger of a matchup. And again, people are going to be like, you gave us 2 spots. How's that a banger? Use your imagination. Seth Rollins versus Mustafa Ali. That is literally all you need.
That's already fucking gold right there.
Done, sold, 18 minutes on pay-per-view, misses the 450, curb stomp off the second just for that extra oomph to send him away and make Mustafa look strong, brother, in defeat.
Fuck yeah.
Match 4, Mrs. Crossfire.
Alrighty, so my match 4 is the Men's Wars game now. Match.
So back-to-back War Games for Mrs. Crossfire. It's War Games hour.
Yeah. Pretty much.
But I feel like, in a way, with the story you've just given with that one, so I wanted to separate it because I didn't want them right next to each other because I want to burn out. But I feel like you've dug enough into that psychological aspect where there's going to be some good spots in that women's match, but it's probably not going to be as big as what you're about to have. So it's almost like you're building to a crescendo.
Yeah.
Bang, there's your fucking War Games. I probably clapped way too loud in the microphone, so if you're listening to this with earphones in, my bad, but I'm excited. Mrs. Crossfire is getting me passionate about professional wrestling. Match 4 men's War Game. What's going on?
Alrighty, so we've got they don't have names, unfortunately. Usually I have names. These ones do not.
Comment below or hit us up at CIC Pod on Facebook or at Courting Conversation on Instagram. When I post the graphic and stuff for this or whatever, just send me a message and tell me what you would name these two teams. So pay attention to the people Mrs. Crossfire is about to mention.
Okay, so we've got Jimmy Uso.
Okay.
Jey Uso.
The Usos, okay. Welcome to the Uso Penitentiary.
With Top Dollar.
Oh, fuck you.
Yep,
okay.
You're like, fuck yeah.
Are we throwing Ashanti in there as well? Like, is this the Usos in it row, or are you just chucking Top Dollar?
Top Dollar only.
Mrs. Crossfire says fuck Ashanti. She misses Swerve.
Yeah, where's Swerve at?
Don't get me wrong, I love Ashanti the Adonis, but Swerve and Top Dollar just had a really good dynamic. But in saying that, they are the OG3.
I reckon Carmella Hayes.
B-Fab, Ashanti, and
Hayes.
Top Dollar were the original 3 members before it made it to TV.
Fucking Carmelo Hayes, though. Like, he should be fucking...
I love Carmelo and Trick.
Yeah, that'd be so good in Hero.
I'm like, they will because it's wrestling, but I hope they never break them up. Like, they could honestly be... They could be the next New Day. And that might be a big step because New Day have made so much money, but the longevity, it's an act that works. You can be heel, you can be face, tag champ, single stars.
For me... I'd say Street Profits. They'd be more like
Yes,
Street
okay, maybe,
for me.
But in saying that, the Street Profits have been teasing to be broken up lately too, so fuck my life.
No. That makes me sad because I don't reckon Dorks would be much without Montez.
See, I don't know, I think Montez is still going to be the biggest star. I think that's always going to be the case. But Dorks has improved so much to where he's not going to be... The expression that people use these days is the Shawn Michaels to the Marty Jannetty.
Yeah.
In no form or fashion is Dorks going to be Marty Jannetty. I feel...
Yeah.
Maybe... Because even at this point, I could see Montez Ford in a couple of years being world champion.
Yeah.
I don't see Dorks quite at that level. But I could see... Look at the current Intercontinental Champion right now, Gunther. I could see Angelo Dawkins dethroning Gunther. And people might scoff at that, but I'm watching the work that dude's put in. He was in developmental for almost 10 years. Kept getting gimmicks, flopping, new gimmick, flopping. But they've obviously seen something that he was never fired. He was never released. Every time he came up with something, they gave him the ball, he ran with it. Finally, him and Montez meet. And that was the missing piece. And now I feel like at this point, when Street Profits do end, or if they end, he could still go do his own thing with the right booking. That's always key, but I feel like Papa H, look, there's a couple of things that he has done already that I'm like, here and there, but for the most part, he's paying more of a close eye. And again, we're ranting, that's what you and I do, but yes, Carmelo and Trick, I could see probably more Street Profits than the New Day, but I would love to see them have a New Day type longevity.
Just quickly going back to that with the possible split of the Street Profits. I think for me, it's not really comparable, I guess, but it's more like my anxiety as such. I don't want another Tucker situation.
Yes, because I honestly was actually really a fan of Heavy Machinery, and then for a while there, I couldn't stand Otis. I was just like, he did nothing for me, and it wasn't anything personal. He just did nothing for me without Heavy Machinery, and thank God for Chad Gable, because shush please. Thank you. Chad Gable has revitalized. Like, obviously Otis has put the work in as well. His in-ring has gotten so much better, but Chad Gable really revitalized Otis's career for me. But yeah, I see what you mean. Like, because Tucker he was very, very green in his own right. And then he was kind of starting to really come into his own right as they pulled the plug, and then he got released, and he's like a fucking chef or something now. Like, he's not even. Is that what you said the other day?
Yeah, I think he's a chef.
He's like a chef or some shit, and he's not even in the wrestling business. And I mean, good for him. He's still found a way to make a living, which is, I guess, the silver lining. But I see what you mean. Like, I do not want to see Angelo Dawkins in that type of situation, because he has improved so fucking much. Like, the amount of weight that he's lost, the strength he's put on, the moves that he adds to the repertoire. I'm one of those guys that usually shits on people because they're like, oh, this guy sucks because he only has X amount of moves. I'm like, it's called psychology, shut the fuck up. But he's added enough new moves into his repertoire to where he can, he can still only hit 5 moves in a match, but he can swap them out and change them at the same time.
Yeah.
It's a case-by-case thing in professional wrestling. It's not all black and white. There's shades of greys and sometimes a little bit of color. It's, as they always say, it's the flavors of ice cream analogy. But yeah, I 100% agree with you there. I do not... I did have that fear about a year ago when they started saying it. But in the last year, and in a way, Montez injuring his ankle, as much as I never want to see a dude get injured, because again, especially him, I can see him being world champion. But in a way, it was kind of a, hey brother, this is your spotlight. And Montez, because they are such close friends, like they're brothers in real life, there was no egos involved. He was like, I'm on the sideline. And every promo that Montez cut made Dorks look like $1,000.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do agree. I don't want to see that happen, but I don't see that happening now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what's your fourth match, Mrs. Crossfire?
All right,
yeah, it wouldn't be a podcast with us if we didn't rant, would it?
Yeah, that's just us. We just always shoot the shit.
I mean, shit, we're about an hour in, you're about to hit number 4. That's pretty decent. That's still pretty decent.
It's probably because I usually, I go over the top and, think into it too much. And I'm like, I don't want to do this time. I want to shoot the shit a little bit.
I was gonna have only 6 matches, then I'm like, no, because, I don't think they're even going to have one now, because when we do the predictions later, there's only 5 matches they've announced. And I mean, they don't have a traditional Survivor Series match. It is what it is, because they've got the 2 War Games matches, so it still fits the theme, but I'm a sucker for the traditional one, so I'm like, I just wanted to throw some Survivor Series aspects in there, and it's one of the big 4, so it can go up to 4 hours if it really wants to. In my mind, I've booked my card for a 3 to 3.5 hours max, with the half-hour pre-show before it, taking it to 4 hours.
See, I haven't even planned out
like
that. I don't even know how long my matches are going
That's
for.
Fine.
I'm just fucking going with it. I'm rolling with it. Alright, so my match 4, just going back to it, is the men's War Games match. So far we've touched base on that we've got Jimmy, Jay, and Top Dollar.
Okay, yep.
And then I've also thrown in there, so Jimmy, Jay, and Top Dollar are all from SmackDown. So it doesn't really matter as much, but I'm just kind of trying to mix it up a little bit. And then my 4th man is Shelton Benjamin of Raw.
Okay. That's a fucking random as fuck one, but I'm here for it because Shelton's my boy.
Yeah,
Shelton's my boy.
I want Shelton to get some limelight.
I want him to get his old theme song back, though. Ain't no stopping me now.
So, essentially, Paul Heyman's been going around watching talent, and he actually handpicked Top Dollar and Shelton to try and help the Usos.
That makes so much fucking sense, though, because, and I know that I don't know if this is why you've done it, but I know that you do know this. Who was Brock Lesnar's roommate when they were fucking rookies?
Shelton motherfucking Benjamin, bitch. That's right.
Boom. I just did an imaginary mic drop because I don't want to drop my actual microphone, but fucking alright. That's fucking genius. I didn't even think about that for a second because, like you said before, that Sammy got kicked out of the bloodline. For some reason, in my head, that registered as the bloodline was gone.
Yeah.
No, okay, so Usos still representing the bloodline. Paul Heyman, Shelton Benjamin, that seems a lot less random now. That makes so much fucking sense. Holy shit.
Yeah. I have a brain.
I'm aware of that. That's why I married your ass. But
I have a creative brain.
Usos, Top Dollar, Shelton Benjamin. Who are they facing?
AJ Styles.
Sweet cream on a cracker. AJ Styles versus Shelton Benjamin in his prime would be... I'm just...
You good?
Like,
Do I need to leave you alone?
2005 Intercontinental Champion versus even current day AJ. Holy fucking Jesus. Oh.
Is it getting hot here or?
Yeah, I'm glad I got the fan on. Fuck me.
So then we've got.
So versus AJ.
And then Austin Theory.
Okay. A-Town down.
And then we've got Johnny Gargano for some fuckery.
Okay. And then this is the way.
And then we randomly have, of all people, Butch. Because what's a War Games match without fucking Butch, aka Pete fucking Dunne?
War Games!
Yeah. I'm just, again, sucker for old NXT. That's why he's randomly in there.
It's like you've just like put your 2K game on like simulation. It's just like, BAM!
That works.
Such a random pairing. Makes no sense on paper with outside of the Shelton Benjamin thing with Paul Bearer. Oh, yes. Paul Heyman. But you know that by saying those names, it's going to be a good match. And, people shit on Top Dollar because, again, he's green. There's only one way to get better. And that's by going out there and doing it over and over and over.
And you put him with talent.
And in that kind of, environment,
passionate.
Fuck yes.
So pretty much, essentially, So essentially, pretty much, the Usos actually lose after all that.
Okay.
So again, this is pissing Perman off even fucking
Solo's
more.
lost in the Battle Royal. The Usos have lost in the fucking War Games. Who pins who? I'm assuming it's going to be Jimmy or Jay that, takes the pin or submission just purely for more drama.
Yeah, so Johnny actually pins Jay. And see, Jay...
He's already mad at Jay as it is because him and Sammy were fighting. Sammy's been kicked out now because... Jesus! What are you doing to the bloodline?
Bloodline?
You are a homewrecker!
The bloodline is slowly dissipating, guys.
You're tearing this family apart, Lisa! Oh, fuck, that's a terrible movie. Actually, I think he says you're tearing me apart, not tearing this family apart. That's The Room, by the way. Don't watch it. Or do. I'm not your boss.
But yeah.
Okay, so men's War Games. Usos, Top Dollar. Ain't No Stopping Me Now. Shelton Benjamin versus AJ Styles. Theory. Johnny Gargano. And Pete Dunne. A.K.A. Butch.
But you know what's even more fucked? Paul Heyman. He's mad at Paul Heyman as well, because Paul Heyman went and picked Top Dollar and Shelton, and they couldn't perform to what he was expecting them to be.
Yeah, he's just bringing these fucking random ring-ins. It's like, what'd you do? Walk in and pick the first two people you saw in catering?
And he literally...
That's a direct line from the promo that Roman's going to say the next week on SmackDown.
Yeah. Pretty much. But then it pisses Paul off because he's actually been eyeing off Shelton for quite a while. Because Shelton was actually fantastic.
I got genuine hate in the 2020 Royal Rumble when Brock Lesnar was like running through everyone and he like broke the record or tied the record, whatever it was. I think he tied Braun's record for 13 when Shelton comes out and it looks like they're going to team together and then Brock turns on him. I was like, no! I wanted just at least one person to be teamed up on like properly by Brock and Shelton before he turned on him.
And see, this is where I'm kind of starting to just feel it.
Shelton should have always been a Paul Heyman guy. It's just, it is how it is.
Well, that's what I'm kind of leaning towards.
Like, look what MVP and Shelton did with the Hurt Business.
Yeah.
They did fucking beautiful
The
stuff,
Hurt
and then they
Business,
just dropped it like nothing.
That's where I was getting at. So Paul Heyman admired him when he was in the Hurt Business and thought, hey, does he still have that shit, Like, he was great in the Hurt Business.
It works on so many levels, because he was looking at the Hurt Business because he was keeping an eye on Bobby Lashley, and then Shelton was so impressive that his focus shifted from Bobby Lashley to Shelton, and it literally just fucking writes itself. It really does.
Yeah. I know.
Alright, so...
I know. I'm going to be your head booker when you have, a business.
Look, if I run shows, Mrs. Crossfire is going to be... She's probably going to go crazy because I'm going to be waking her up at like 3 a.m. like, how's this idea? No, I won't actually do that, but I'll be hitting her up with all my ideas. Okay. So match number 4 for me, I have my first traditional Survivor Series elimination match. I have 2. Spoiler alert. My first traditional Survivor Series elimination match. It is 5 versus 5, and it's the one that I mentioned before. It's the Judgment Day. Finn Balor and Damian Priest. They are teaming with the Arthur Academy of Otis and Chad Gable, and Elias, who just turned heel a few weeks ago in Mark-A-Palooza land. They are facing Luke Gallows, Kyle Anderson, and AJ Styles, the OC. They are teaming with Matt Riddle and Angelo Dawkins. The injured Montez Ford is being entertaining as fuck on commentary. I'm semi-positive in real life that Montez's injury has healed. I swear he only wrestled not too long ago, but recent wrestling kind of blends together. It's weird that I can remember so much of like the old stuff, but for the sake of this, his ankle is still injured. My bad. Sorry, Montez. You're on commentary. So just to recap, it's Judgment Day, Alpha Academy, and Elias. So Balor, Priest, Otis, Gable, Elias versus Styles, Anderson, Gallows, Riddle, and Dawkins. The match starts. Dawkins gets a very shock elimination, eliminating Otis almost instantly. Damian Priest looks really strong, brother, by eliminating both Angelo Dawkins and Carl Anderson. Something that I've been wanting to happen since they come back. You've got a face-off properly between Doc Gallows, Luke Gallows, whatever you want to call him, and Damian Priest, and they just beat the shit out of each other. They brawl in the ring, around the ring for about a solid 5 minutes, and eventually it leads to a double countout. Both men are eliminated by a countout. Riddle eliminates Elias after an attempt to counter the RKO into Elias's drift away neckbreaker. So quick backslide, countered the counter because it's Matt Riddle and that's what he does. He's a technical wrestler. Meanwhile, Priest and Gallows, they've been eliminated. They're still beating the fuck out of each other on the outside. You've got more referees coming to, try and separate them. With all the referees doing this, this allows Dominic Mysterio to run in, because again, when I made the rules, I said no double duty, not including run-ins, but Mrs. Crossfire said, fuck your rules. Dominic Mysterio does a run-in, absolute no effect, runs straight into an RKO from Matt Riddle. Oh, yeah. Riddle's doing the Orton pose, he's carrying on. Referees are still distracted. The man that was just eliminated, Elias, cracks Matt Riddle straight in the back, shatters the guitar, just fucks Riddle up. It's a honky-tonk man on Jake the Snake Roberts type of guitar shot. The guitar's still gigged, luckily, but he just stiffs the fuck out of him. Riddle's done. And then Chad Gable, being the mastermind that he is, as the referee's turning around, grabs Riddle's ankle for the ankle lock, and he makes it look like Riddle has passed out from the submission. So Riddle is eliminated via submission. Elias gets away with the guitar shot, even though there's still debris over the mat, but it's wrestling. That's the reference it. How did that get there? It must have fallen from the sky. And then, this allows Chad Gable to eliminate Riddle by submission, wink wink with a quotation mark on a audio-only podcast, and this brings it to a 2-on-1 situation. We have Finn Balor and Chad Gable. AJ hits a phenomenal forearm on Chad Gable out of nowhere, follows it up with a Styles Clash. 1, 2, 3. Literally, as the referee hits free, Chad Gable's eliminated. It's down to Styles and Finn Balor. Finn straight off the top, coup de grace, right to the back of AJ's neck. 1, 2, 3. Finn Balor's your sole survivor. Quick, to the point. Everyone looks strong, brother. Match goes roughly 4.5 minutes.
Okay. Yeah.
Match number 5, Mrs. Crossfire.
Okay. So, match number 5 for me is again...
Still getting through these way quicker than I thought.
Is again... Yeah, it's probably because I'm not going as detailed.
That's fine, it's good.
I feel like I had more to say about match 4, but
It's good. Because if we can get through these, it means we can rant a little bit more when we get to the predictions.
Yeah. I still feel like there was more I could have went on about with my match 4, my men's war games. But, anyway.
It's all for us. We're just being marks and chucking it out there for the universe.
So, match 5, anyway, is Raw versus SmackDown. Again, staying homage to Survivor Series. It's very Raw versus SmackDown-esque. You have Bianca versus...
in Mark-A-Palooza land, at least, we didn't draft people 2 weeks before the pay-per-view and then that's who you're fighting for now. These people have been on these brands for, 6 months-ish, except for Ray, but he's been on SmackDown for a couple of months by the time this happens. Oh, Mrs. Crossfire is looking at me. You drafted someone at the last second. You did, didn't you?
I don't think it's gonna happen. Anyway.
Someone's gonna jump sides.
Yeah. Anyway.
Fuck.
So we have match 5, which is Raw versus SmackDown. It's the women's champs. So you have Bianca versus Ronda. So
Okay.
whoever loses, so essentially it's an ego match. Who is the real baddest in WWE?
So like non-title, just brand versus brand.
Yeah, non-title, but this is why. Because it's an ego match to see who is the real baddest in WWE.
Because the roughest, the toughest, the fastest, the quickest, the baddest, the strongest. And then, of
Who
course,
is the
Ronda
real
Rousey.
baddest?
And then, of course, Ronda Rousey is the baddest woman on the planet.
Yeah, because Bianca's been talking shit as usual, and she's like, I'm the baddest.
Girl!
And then Ronda's like, I have had enough of this shit. And the stipulation to this at the end is whoever loses has to switch brands.
Okay.
So they take the title with them.
Okay.
But the only thing is they have to...
So basically they're fighting for a draft pick, in a sense.
Yeah, they're fighting to stay on their brand where they feel like they're the most loyal to. So it's kind of like, oh,
And do that
shit.
because then you can have a rematch later on because now they're the losers on that same brand.
Yeah.
You took everything from me. You took my title. You took this. You took that. Okay. So they lose the title, but it's not a title match.
Yeah, so pretty much it's just a whole big fucking shit show and they're just fighting each other.
Just like vacate the title on whichever brand loses, I guess.
Yeah, essentially they lose their title.
And in this
they
week on
lose-
AEW, what are we having a tournament for? Let's have a tournament for who gets the most lasagna and catering.
But
I love tournaments, but AEW needs to stop doing so many of them.
that's essentially what it is.
But yeah, I dig that. Whoever loses has to vacate their title.
Yeah.
And then you can have a tournament with another person. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool.
So then, they get all this shit in, and Bianca gets pinned by Ronda.
Okay. Okay.
So Bianca is out of Raw and is over to SmackDown now.
So she relinquishes the Raw Women's Championship. And
Yep.
now she's over on SmackDown and could possibly lead to her taking Ronda's SmackDown title down the line.
Exactly. It sets up stuff later down the
Gives
line.
stuff for Raw to do because now Raw can
Yeah.
be like, here's a women's tournament.
And see, I didn't want to have yet another, someone's going to lose their title
Okay.
kind
Okay,
of match. So I wanted
So she loses
a
the title
creative
without
way.
Ronda being double champion because
Yeah.
we got enough of those right now.
Yeah, I didn't want to do that again. I was like, I wanted to do something creative, and I was like, this is what I feel like would be pretty cool.
5 must be the magic number because match number 5 for the SmackDown.
Number 5.
From the SmackDown. Shout out Pat McAfee. SmackDown Women's Championship. It's a triple threat match. We have the baddest woman on the planet, a rowdy Ronda Rousey, defending the SmackDown Women's Championship against Shayna Baszler and Sonya Deville.
Oh, sick. Yep.
And for the bulk of the match, we have Shayna and Ronda kind of teaming up because they're trying to take Sonya out because in Shayna's mind, she knows she can beat Ronda, but she has to beat Ronda by herself. So they want to take Sonya out because she's just an amateur MMA fighter. She didn't reach the heights that they did, which is an actual, altercation that Ronda and Sonya have had in the past. So, throw Shayna in the mix now because why the fuck not?
yeah.
They're 2 of the 4 horsewomen in the MMA world, of course. We all know that, the WWE 4 horsewomen were the real 4 horsewomen because they were doing it first. That's neither here nor there. We have Ronda and Shayna teaming up. Eventually, there is dissension between the two, which does allow for Shayna to for Sonya to get a second wind. She takes out Ronda. Sonya tries to take out Shayna, but she's just had far too much taken out of her from the 2-on-1 beating. Shayna locks in the Kirifuda clutch on Sonya, but just as Sonya's about to pass out, Ronda swoops in and she rolls Shayna up with a handful of tights and all to steal the win, setting up a proper feud between Ronda and Shayna down the line. And that also gives Sonya a shot down the line too, because she's pissed because she was never pinned and she wants another shot. Match goes about 10 to 12 minutes.
Nice.
Match number 6, Mrs. Crossfire.
Okay, so match number 6 for me is a men's continental title match.
Intercontinental title match,
Yeah,
okay.
intercontinental title match.
So I'm assuming that means we have Gunther, the current champion.
Gunther. And we have a free agent, ladies and gentlemen.
Jesus fucking Christ. What have I started? Who have you brought in?
Bronson motherfucking Reed, aka Jonah, versus Gunther.
Oh,
I wanted a big man versus a big man.
I'm 90% positive that they did have a match at some point in PWG, like before either of them were in WWE, but my chest.
You good?
I can't feel my chest.
You good, fam?
I'm just thinking of like those chops, and then of course, you know, Jonah Bronson, whatever the fuck he's going to be called here, he's obviously going to give it back. Jesus Christ. You've just... Match number 6, Mrs. Crossfire. Bronson Reed challenging Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. Sweet fucking Jesus, please tell me how this unfolds.
So, pretty much it's just, a whole lot of fucking chops.
Just smacking the shit out of each other.
Bronson.
That is big boy wrestling. I don't care about flips and shit, which they both can probably do. Like, they're both very agile dudes.
And this is where I get into it a bit more, is Bronson is doing a bit more flippy shit, and Gunther's like, what the fuck? But because Bronson's just come back in and he's showing off, he's being a cocky motherfucker.
Is this Bronson's first match back, or is he kind of...
This is his first match back.
Was it a surprise? Was it announced?
So it was surprise.
Okay.
It was
so Gunther's come out and he's had like an open challenge
did
or
an open
something.
challenge.
And
yeah. So then Bronson's come out and just fucking shocked everyone. They're like, what the fuck? That's what the fuck? He's just come out.
You realise that
shocked
that's a
everyone.
possibility, right? According to the rumours that we could be tuning into, obviously not Gunther versus... Imagine if Gunther versus Bronson happens. Because they've only announced 5 matches, so Gunther comes out and he's like, I'm the Intercontinental Champion, I want to do this, blah, blah, blah. But can you imagine if, because there's been lots of rumours that there's been a lot of, the caffeine just fucking hit me and I went into some kind of trance, but Bronson has been rumoured the last couple of weeks that he's on his way back. Could you imagine we tune in?
New Japan anymore, so.
And out comes the Colossus, and you've got Bray, fuck me, I'm going to say Bray Wyatt. Wade Barrett, how the fuck did I get Bray Wyatt? I guess WBBW. Anyway, Wade Barrett on commentary for SmackDown. So kind of like the old NXT days, he'd be like, it's the colossal Bronson Reed.
And you can't hardly tell that I fucking love old NXT, can you? Like, I just keep fucking honing it in.
This is Crossfire, a fan of black and gold NXT?
Ever.
Scandal! Okay, who wins? What happens?
So pretty much there's
smacking the shit out of each other.
So pretty much they're smacking the shit out of each other. Bronson gets some flippy shit in because he's trying to show off because he's back at his home.
He's all amped up. He's had some caffeine.
And he's like, I'm not on NXT anymore. I'm fucking on the main brand and shit.
Survivor Series of all fucking shows to make my main roster debut. Holy shit.
Yeah. So he's showing off. He's doing a little bit too
Debuting on
much.
the same show that The Undertaker debuted on, The Rock debuted on, The Shield debuted on.
Yep. Yep.
Why isn't this real?
I'm sorry. I love you.
Who wins? Who wins?
So, Gunther actually wins because Bronson is being a little bit too showy off.
Takes too many risks.
Yeah, it takes too many risks, and he needs to season his way back into the realm of WWE.
That's a perfect, finish, though. Bronson does something. He goes to the top rope for his splash. The crowd are cheering for him. He takes that 1 second to get a little bit emotional because they're like, welcome back, this, that, whatever. So he misses his splash. And then Gunther goes, I know that trick myself. I've won many a matches the same way. Goes up to the top rope. Hits a splash of his own. 1, 2, 3.
There you go.
That's how it's done. Simple, to the point. You don't need no fucking flippy-doos. Just a big fat man splash, which I am a master at.
Oh, gosh.
I don't know if I can continue. I'm just like, I just want Bronson, right?
So even though that my matches are pretty like...
You have blown my mind on multiple occasions.
And a lot of it, it's the psychology of it all.
And again,
it's
that's
not
what I'm
just...
saying. You look at this as a Mark-A-Palooza. Here is this person versus this person. Here's like the fucking the fine print. Here's like, you know, the bullet points, I guess. The linear notes, I think, is the expression I was looking for. Is it linear? Is that the term? The linear notes?
I think so, yeah.
Whatever the fuck. I do have a bigger vocabulary than it seems on this podcast. I just get put on the spot and my ADHD's like, let's say fuck for the 100th time.
Essentially,
the stuff and the things. Fuck, fuckity, fuck.
But yeah, that's why I wanted to go with, for like my card, is I wanted to be started off so you just get a taster of where my creativity is going and what's happening. But then I was trying to just plan it on the spot. But at the same time, I was feeling, like, leave a little bit to the imagination so then you guys can just go, fuck, like, this works. I can see this happening. You can kind of picture it in your head a bit like it's actually happening.
I dig it. Yeah. So, match number 6 for me, I have my second of the 2 traditional Survivor Series matches. This is Raw versus SmackDown. On Raw, I have the unlikely team of Bobby Lashley, Austin Theory, Baron Corbin, and then Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. We've got a little mini Hurt Business reunion for one night only. They are taking on all 3 members of Imperium in Gunther. So, again, women's matches, match number 5. We've both got Gunther at number 6. What the fuck? I swear to God, we have not seen each other's notes either.
Yeah, no.
All of mine are on my phone. I wrote them last night. Mrs. Crossfire wrote hers, like, literally just a couple hours before we've hit recording. So this is, I guess what they say, great minds think alike. And, you know, that's why we got married, I suppose. But,
yeah, I guess so.
I have all of it. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess that's the part.
Damn. Savage.
Damn.
Okay, so I've got Imperium, Gunther, Ludwig, and Giovanni Vinci. And they are teaming with the Brawling Brutes, Sheamus and Butch. Ridge Holland is absolutely nowhere to be seen here because fuck that guy, he's not even at ringside. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Fuck that guy.
Lashley and Gunther are their respective team captains, obviously, and this is exactly, again, what you'd expect. Stiff shots all round. There's a very crucial elimination at some point, though. Bobby Lashley is the legal man. Austin Theory tags himself in. So Austin Theory tags himself in, by God. Lashley and Theory argue, but while this is all going on, Gunther tags himself in on the other side as well. Crikey. Lashley looks to spear one of the members of Imperium, whoever it is, use your imagination, I don't give a fuck. But there's a little bit of miscommunication. They move. Lashley accidentally spears Austin Theory. But it wasn't an accident, they were just arguing. Who knows? Stay tuned to next week's episode of Dragon Ball Z. Or in this case, Monday Night Raw. Whatever. They accidentally spears Theory, and then Gunther eliminates Theory with a big top rope splash. We've got a couple of face-offs with this. We've got Corbin and Lashley going face-to-face with Gunther and Sheamus, respectively, at a couple of different points in a battle of the heavyweights. Again, smacks, chops, couple of big slams here and there, whatever it is. Following on from this, though, the fans absolutely lose it. The shock elimination for this match. And Mrs. Crossfire is going to love this because I know that she pops every time he does this spot. Baron Corbin looks for the end of days as he looks to flip Butch back. Butch does a flip, lands on his feet, as people do when they, like, you know. Yeah. It's hard to explain, but when you know what I mean when you say it. Anyway, he flips out of the end of days. And because he was in the end of days position, Baron Corbin has essentially just handed his fingertips straight to Butch. So then we have a little shh. Pete Dunne, Butch snaps the fingers of Baron Corbin because we all just fucking love that spot. Mrs. Crossfire pops for it every time. And then Butch muscles Corbin up for the bitter end to a huge pop. 1, 2, 3. Butch eliminates Baron Corbin. Pop, pop, pop. And eventually we get some rapid-fire eliminations, and it comes down to the final 2. It's the 2 team captains. It's Bobby Lashley. It's Gunther. They've got about a 6... Bobby Lashley. I don't know why it pops me so much when fucking Brock says that. But it just... I think it's just, why has it taken Brock Lesnar this long to show so much personality? Like, I know he did like the mariachi thing when he feuded with Eddie, which was kind of cool, but since then he's been just, Brock and mute, and now all of a sudden the last few years he's got fucking Brock with the boombox Money in the Bank, and now he's country Brock just doing shit. But Bobby Lashley and Gunther are the last two men. We've got about a 6 to 7 minute brawl of these just chops, slaps, whatever it is. At first, Lashley no-sells one of Gunther's massive chops, and it's one of the loudest ones he's ever done, and everyone is just, they can't believe it. I actually got this idea by watching Raw last week, or this past week, whatever it was, and Lashley had, like, the split in his pec, or whatever it was.
Oh, yeah, fuck, that was creepy.
So, Gunther has literally split Lashley's chest open with this big fuck-off chop, and Lashley barely even flinches, and the crowd are just... You hear the air they just gasp. They go silent. They're like, what the fuck? Like, what's going on here? Lashley fires up big shots, goes for a spear. Gunther responds eventually. He gets his own little holy shit moment, catches Lashley off the spear in midair in a gut wrench, throws him up for that big Gunther powerbomb. 1, 2, just kicked out by Bobby Lashley. Gunther cannot believe it. He's losing his mind. He goes berserk, starts chopping Lashley's back. And these ones, he starts to feel. Gunther splits his own hand from how hard he's chopping Lashley. Goes for the big burning lariat. Lashley ducks. Looks for a spear. Again, Gunther, he's got the speed. Sidesteps. Lashley hits the post. Shoulder first. Again, Gunther chops him on the back one last time. One last chop to the chest for good measure. Big fuck off burning lariat. 1, 2, 3. They've just, took everything from both men, and Gunther is the sole survivor for his team. Tying Raw and SmackDown at 1-1 because this is more about war games than actual brand warfare in this Mark-A-Palooza episode.
Except for me.
So, because my first traditional Survivor Series match, I think, was a mixture of Raw and SmackDown. I'm pretty sure on both sides. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's what I did. I've already forgotten. We'll recap that when we finish the cards anyway. But yeah, match goes for about 16 minutes all up, and the bulk of that is mainly just Lashley and Gunther just smacking the shit out of each other with a couple of moments from Butch and Sheamus and Corbin and all that in there. Not really a shine for Cedric and Shelton. I'm sorry, but sometimes you have to make sacrifices in these situations. Match number 7, semi-main event, Mrs. Crossfire. What have you got?
So, I've got my women's Survivor elimination match.
Okay.
So, I've got, for Team Raw, we've got Alexa Bliss as the captain. Mm-hmm. Then we've got Candice LeRae.
I see now more than ever why you've dug into NXT as well, because you wouldn't have been able to have this much depth in terms of...
Depth? Yeah.
Yeah, this much depth in terms of having a women's War Games and a women's Survivor Series without people pulling double duty. So I see why you've done that now even more.
Yeah.
Again, Mrs. Crossfire is a very smart booker.
Yes.
I don't know why I said that with an accent, but...
Booker T.
Booker T.
I don't know why he's French, but Booker T. Anyway.
Fucking...
It's getting that late at night. I'm fucking getting
just
weird.
going off the rails.
Anyway.
Let's power through this.
Crazy train.
We're just below an hour and a half. By the time once this is all clipped together and the intro and stuff's clipped in, it'll probably be just on an hour and a half. So let's power through these last two matches respectively. Hit the predictions. We'll probably get to about the 2-hour mark by the end of that. That's fine.
Yeah.
Then you can go to bed and I can... The good news is because I'm doing an episode with you, I don't have to worry about editing. I literally chuck the intro on, normalize the volume, and all I've literally got to do is do the fucking thumbnail and upload it, and I can come to bed too. So let's power through your semi-main women's elimination Survivor Series match. Alexa Bliss.
Yep. Candice LeRae.
Yep.
Dakota Kai.
Yep. Ooh, nice.
And then we've got Mia Yim. Because there's a bit of tension at the moment
Alexa,
with Dakota Kai and Mia Yim.
Alexa, Candice, Dakota, Mia.
Yep. So I've only gone 4.
4 versus 4?
Yep. 4 versus 4. And then my SmackDown... my SmackDown captain is Emma.
Emma.
Now Emma's back.
Yes.
So we've got Emma. Then we've got Alba Fire.
Alba Fire got the SmackDown call up here.
Mm-hmm. She got a call up.
I love that we both called her up on our cards.
Yeah, that's why I was like, and snickering.
No, I was
in
waiting
yours.
for it. Fucking hell, yes.
Yeah.
Alright, cool.
And then
Emma, Alba.
Sarah Logan.
Yes. Oh, bro, her return was so fucking... To all those people that are saying she's ripped off Max the Impaler,
Fuck off.
shut the fuck up. Max the Impaler isn't a Viking. She's a wasteland wanderer. I understand the similarities. Google female Vikings. Literally, that's all you've got to Google. Female Vikings. You will get thousands and thousands of different people that look similar to what Sarah is wearing. That's the fucking style.
Yeah, well, you look at it. When you look at it, so
It's
are you
making me
gonna
mad.
are you gonna go say that Athena's gone and copied fucking Max as well?
She's the
Slash
worst.
Ember Moon.
I suppose like she was the war goddess before Max, the Impaler came along. But still, yeah, it's
You know what I mean? Like people are just not gonna look at that. Like, ugh.
Sarah Logan
People.
literally lives a Viking lifestyle with her husband on their property.
Husband
I
and the property.
don't know. I think it's just again, the caffeine's kicking in. I'm getting delusional. I've had 3 hours sleep in about 36 hours.
Jesus
I think I napped. Well, not even. I think I napped for
You're
about.
getting tired talking about it.
I
Stop.
napped for 2.5 hours. I think before the groceries got here and you got home from work.
But yeah,
That's all I've had.
so what? Sarah Logan, and then my last one for Team SmackDown is Shotzi.
Welcome to the ball pit. Something, get your ass kicked.
So pretty much, again, everyone gets their shit in
Brother, or
as they all do.
sister, because it's a women's match.
Sister. Okay.
The Christian something Rock of Ages is a good movie.
So the first eliminated is Mia Yim,
Oh damn!
and she's eliminated by Sarah.
Sarah Logan coming in hot,
Yeah.
throwing that fucking weight around,
She's like, fuck you, bitch.
smacking bitches.
And then Shotzi is eliminated by Candice LeRae.
Okay.
Got some old NXT
A little bit
there.
of history there. I can get behind that.
And then Dakota Kai eliminates Alba.
Okay.
So then we're just left with Dakota Kai, Alexa Bliss, and Emma. So Emma's
So
the
a 2-on-1
only...
situation.
Yeah.
Whew, Emma's in. She has a little bit of a dilemma on her hands. I was gonna do the budum tuss, but I feel like that was so forced that
Yes.
if you can't laugh at yourself, what are you doing, right?
But see,
yes,
you
she's-
look at it, Dakota Kai and Alexa Bliss having issues at the moment.
It's like the damage control
Because of
versus
Yeah,
yep.
because of damage control.
I love it.
So-
I love it.
Are they going to team up together for the
Yeah,
sake of
it's
the Raw
brand
brand?
supremacy, but I don't like you.
And then, but I respect you. No.
Yeah, fucking every Asuka and Io Shirai promo ever.
Jesus.
I love that they let them again off. I'm not gonna go too far, but I love that they did let them go at each other back and forth in Japanese
Yeah, that was cool.
because the special we just watched with Fluffy, right? He's new on a Dodger Stadium. He makes the jokes about Canelo, the boxer. Does not sound like a tough guy at all because he can't speak really good English.
Yeah.
But because they're in their native tongue, you can, although you can't understand what they're saying, they get more into it and their emotion just fucking. It was a fantastic segment.
Yeah.
Fantastic segment. But okay, 2-on-1. She's in a dilemma. Wow.
Yep. So then Dakota teams up with Alexa to take the win and eliminates Emma. And this pisses off Bailey, the head of damage control, that Dakota has turned and gone and helped Alexa.
How could you help her? But I wasn't doing it. I was doing it for me and the brand. And no. This is the brand. Damage control is the brand. And
And now,
yeah, okay. Fuck, I love it.
so now it's fucking with that.
There we go. Can we have Dakota Kai versus Bailey on some sort of big-ish stage?
Essentially, this is
Please?
where that was
Like for
kind of
real?
leading
IRL?
Because they're kind of like, yeah, that's kind of like what I was leading to. Is they're going to break up. I keep breaking everyone up. I'm sorry.
This is Crossfire. Mark-A-Palooza 3.
Sick of happy families.
This is Mark-A-Palooza 3. Homewrecker. No, it's War Games, but I'm going to make a note of that in the fucking description somewhere that Mrs. Crossfire is a homewrecker.
I'm a homewrecker.
Heartbreaker.
But I changed it to homewrecker.
Okay. So, after all that drama, Alexa Bliss, Dakota Kai, your winners. And again, as I said, once we get to the bottom of this, we'll recap the actual match and participants without, just to revision. But my 7th match, my semi-main, is the men's War Games match. As I mentioned earlier, this one will only be 4 versus 4 as opposed to the women's 5 versus 5. And this is a very clear heel versus face situation. However, in something that doesn't happen very often, the faces actually end up with the one-man advantage. So the first entrant will be from the faces. So it's going to be 2-on-1, 3-on-2, etc., until all 4-on-4 come in. So yeah, the heels will have the freshest man at the end, but throughout the match, the heels are going to be backpedaling from the faces. They want revenge. They're locked in a cage with nowhere to go.
Okay.
So there's a little comeuppance here, but overall, from bell to bell, this match is a 47-minute war because, let's face it, that's probably close to what the men's War Games match this year's going to go to with the fucking people that you've got in there and doing crazy shit and whatever. But after the match, they're all going to be, they'll draw it out and they'll lay in the ring and be dead for like 10 minutes while the referee checks on everyone and helps them backstage and yada yada yada, and they'll play the WWE shop ads and then the video package for the main, just to give people a chance to kind of take a breath and reset before the main event so they're not completely burnt out. Anyway, I have Kevin Owens as the team captain.
Okay.
Johnny Gargano, the New Day, that's Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. Unfortunately, in Mark-A-Palooza land, Big E is still injured. Sad times. Versus Sami Zayn, Solo Sikoa, still think it should be called Sikoa Uso, and the Usos. I really toyed with the idea of having KO, Gargano, Tommaso in there, but then I'm like, who the fuck do I throw in as the 4th? And then I thought, no, I will be realistic. And although I said, in Mark-A-Palooza land, injuries don't matter, I'm like, to give a realistic feel, I know that he did just compete in like the most recent ones at NXT, Tommaso, but it was very watered down. Like, for his neck and his style, I'm going to keep him out of War Games. I don't want him to get injured. He's fine. He can just... He's backstage. He's enjoying a pizza or something like The Undertaker was at that one WrestleMania that I'm still mad about. But anyway, I have Owens, Gargano, New Day, and versus the Bloodline, minus Roman Reigns, because he's about to be in the main event all by himself. Spoiler alert. That's why the War Game's here, because everyone's going to die.
In the main event.
Everyone's going to die. So the only person that Roman's going to have once all of this shit that I'm about to go through is Paul Heyman. So Paul Heyman's going to have to learn to pull his weight, because the match that I'm about to get into after this War Games is a fuckery as well. But we start off with Jimmy Uso and Kofi Kingston. Then we've got Xavier Woods. Then Jey Uso. Of course, the fucking chemistry that the New Day and the Usos have. How can you not, if you have them in this setting, not have it 2-on-2 at some point in a War Game situation? They're all going for anything and everything, all their big moves, but because they've got such a long history, it's just counter after 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 counter. Eventually, all 4 guys are down. Out comes Johnny Gargano. He super kick barrages both Usos. He goes for another one, but they, in a desperation, manage to hit a double super kick on him, and then all 5 men are down. The New Day try to get involved, but they cop a pair of low blows. So yeah, all 5 men are down. This brings out the 3rd man for the Bloodline. It's Solo Sikoa. Jumps in the cage. Immediately off the top rope, splashes Kofi. Off the other side, splashes Woods. Fucking just yeets Gargano from one ring to the other ring over the top. And then just goes into the opposite ring where it's just the 2 of them and just bounces Gargano pillar to post all over the fucking cage. Gargano gets a little bit of juice. Got some blood here in Mark-A-Palooza land. Gargano, the first person busted open in this fucking brutal War Games match. Eventually, Kofi manages to climb his way into the second ring. Desperation, trouble in paradise. Now all 6 men are down. Everyone's they're fucking killing each other. It's War Games, it is what it is. And then the final member for Team KO comes down, obviously. It's KO himself, he's on a mission. He wants to destroy everything, but he's also banged up and he's limping really bad because the way that the Faces won the man advantage was literally the night before on SmackDown. It was KO versus Sammy in a last man standing match to get the one man advantage. So not only was it for the man advantage, KO and Sammy have just fucking killed each other not even 24 hours beforehand, and now KO is entering a steel cage, and he gets his inner Terry Funk on. He goes under the ring and he tosses about 20 odd steel chairs into the cage before he comes in, hits a frog splash of his own on both Usos at the same time, a la John Crossfire, hits a pop-up powerbomb on Solo Sikoa onto the metal framing that connects the two War Games rings, and then they're just stomping away. And then obviously out comes Sami Zayn. Everyone else is down. Sammy and KO, they're limping, they're beaten up from the night before. They pick straight back up. Everyone's down. They literally all roll into the second ring, and there's only 2 men in that first ring, and it's just Sammy and KO. They're just smacking the shit out of each other. And then, everyone kind of pulls themselves up on the opposite side. The New Day and Gargano and the Usos and Solo kind of, start going backwards and forth. KO manages to get Sammy down with a super kick. Starts to build a structure with the chairs in true KO fashion. But, of course, in true wrestling fashion, Sammy sends KO crashing through them instead. Gets a near fall. Eventually, after even more carnage with the remaining chairs that were somehow survived, all the fuckery, because a lot of them got broken, they pulled an edge. They were using, the chair legs as fucking bats and everything. They're using anything and everything. They're brawling. Paul Heyman comes out, slides a pair of handcuffs each to the Usos, as well as a steel pipe to Solo. Didn't have anything for Sammy for some reason, because again, I guess some sort of dissension may be starting between Sammy, because he lost that last man standing match. He let Roman down. But the New Day get the upper hand. They cuff the Usos together with one set of them, and then Johnny Gargano cuffs Solo Sikoa to the ropes in the opposite ring with the other set. And all they can do is look on as KO delivers not 1, but 2 stunners to Sami Zayn for the win.
I guess that's why before you said Sami Main.
What? Did I say Sami Main? Sami Zayn.
No, at the start. You said this is my Sami Main.
It's the Sami Main, yes, okay. I get what
because he ain't the main. He ain't the main. He's the Sami Main. Sami Main.
But yeah,
sorry,
it's
I just say it the whole time. It's supposed to be quiet.
A couple of spots. Paul Heyman comes out, has the handcuffs. Usos try to handcuff each New Day member to the rope, but they battle back. Stick the Usos together, knock them down. Gargano gets the other set. Boom, 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 boom. 1 stunner. Sammy does a big super bump. Somehow lands back on his feet like The Rock. Another stunner. 1, 2, 3. Mrs. Crossfire, what is your main event?
So, my main event is a winner-takes-all match.
Oh, that's right. You said it was a triple threat.
Yeah, it's a triple threat. So, we've got Roman with the Raw and SmackDown titles. So, you got the Universal...
And the WWE.
And WWE.
Ron Breaker with the NXT, and then...
Ron Breaker with NXT. Cody Rhodes with...
Oh, I literally was like, fuck, who'd you say won the freaking Battle Royal? Cody Rhodes. Adrenaline in my soul, something, Cody Rhodes. I just... Fuck. My main event is also a triple threat match. Son of a bitch. Okay, Cody versus Braun versus Roman. Who's winning? What's happening? What's your holy shit moments?
So, pretty much, You've just got a whole heap of fuckery going on.
Roman has nobody right now.
Yeah, again, like yours, Roman's on his own.
Fuck.
For fuck's sake, why do we have such similar fucking mindsets?
Anyway, this was great. I love it.
But literally, Roman's literally just let his ego get in the way, and he's on his own. He's lost Paul Heyman. He's lost his cousin Solo. He's lost both the Usos. He kicked Sami Zayn out a couple weeks back. So he's just on his own. He's literally just let the ego get the best of him. He's like, fine, I'll just fucking do it on my own.
Honestly, that's a great way to do it, though.
And I built my way up here.
Self-destruction.
I'm gonna do it on my own. And then he loses.
Okay, who's winning?
So Cody wins.
So Cody is a triple champion.
Yep. Cody is now the triple
the
champion.
NXT and the undisputed WWE Universal Champion.
Yep. I love a good underdog, and he's just fucking come out of nowhere. He's won this battle royal.
It's kind of
snuck
predictable.
His way in there. But yeah.
But honestly, when Rumble rolls around, and I'm hoping your schedule is still the same as it is now, because then we'll be able to watch live, and we'll probably do a watch. We'll probably have all of this set up so we can do a watch along or whatever. But I'm fucking keen as hell. Like, just when Cody's music hits, it's gonna be fucking. It's gonna be mint.
It was just like, yeah.
I should say if, because, they might swerve us and have him come back the night after, but...
But so, essentially, that's what happens. But then, Cody takes the win, but he pins Braun Breaker, not Roman.
I mean, look...
So Roman's still looking strong.
It's all right.
But he pins Braun Breaker.
Braun Breaker's looked pretty fucking strong on the NXT roster. He's in the main roster here now. He's still gonna look strong in defeat, I'm sure.
And that's how I've made him lose.
Roman.
That's how he's lost his NXT title. Like, even though it's going to another main roster star, so Braun can come up.
And Roman loses the titles without being pinned, and that's gonna piss him off, because he's the longest reigning Universal Champion of all time, and you've just ruined all his hopes and dreams of overtaking Hulk Hogan's record.
Yeah. And because he has no one with him, and he's all beaten up to all hell. He's like limping on his way out. And who fucking runs out to help him? Seth fucking Rollins. They're fucking reunited. The Shield is becoming reunited.
The enemy of the enemy is my friend. Roman and Seth still have issues, but Seth has this really big thing that Cody beat him 3 in a row, even with a fucking torn pec that is still gross as fuck to look at.
Yep.
Oh my god, my wife is a fucking booking genius. She's a fucking genius.
And Seth was actually in the Battle Royal match, if you don't remember.
Yes.
So going back to that, he was in the Battle Royal match. So it's kind of like, what is he sniffing around for, though? Like, why does he want this
It's like, had he have been in that situation, he would have been right there beating the shit out of Roman. But it's like, because he was eliminated, he's like, no. We're in the Shield, bro. Fists out. Fist bump me, bro.
And he knows that Roman's still fucking strong. He knows he's still fucking strong, but he's like, I might have more of a chance of trying to slip in and beat Cody now. So that's kind of how I've planned it.
It's crazy. Like, even in real life, they have brought that story to life. That obviously Roman's beat Seth at God knows how many fucking live events and house shows and yada. He beat him at the Australian tour that I went to. On the actual television shows and whatever, Roman has never beaten Seth. Even at the Royal Rumble, Seth won by disqualification, but they've still somehow built Roman to this point where, even though he's never beaten Seth, it's like, you look at it on paper, Seth has got Roman's number 10 fold, but you still look at it, it's like, how can Seth beat Roman? He's indestructible. And that is a fucking just beautiful, brilliant thing of how well, if you use your, wrestling psychology and great booking, and I guess, it's all subjective to a standpoint, to a certain point, but it's just brilliant to me. I've just blown my own mind, because when you think about that in real life, that was the story at the Royal Rumble. At the Royal Rumble at the start of the year, Seth kept saying, "You've never beat me. You've never beaten me," and despite that, it was still like, there's no way Seth's beating Roman.
Yeah.
And then when the disqualification happened, it's like, oh, that's a shitty ending. I'm like, no.
Makes sense.
Because, like, we didn't think that Seth was going to beat Roman despite their record. And even still, by default, even though he didn't win the title, Seth still technically won the match. It's just beautiful how it all... I'm ranting, but I fucking love that shit. I love it.
It's essentially how my card went.
It's like, yeah, it's the same thing. I'm 0-3 against Cody. You flip it on the other side, though. I've still got more of a chance of beating him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's dope as
So
fuck.
I'm just quickly wrapping mine up. I'm just checking.
Yeah, so after I go through mine, we'll just go through the card. So match 1 is this, match 2 is this, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, okay, alright. You go through yours now, and I'll just get that sorted.
Match number 8 / the main event of the evening. I don't know why I went into my fucking UFC ring announcer, but anyway, I have a triple threat match for the WWE and the Universal Championship. Both matches are both titles are on the line separately in this match because there is 2 falls, not 2 out of 3 falls. This is a 2-fall triple threat match. They will flip a coin because it is professional wrestling to determine which one is on the line. The Universal Championship is on the line in the first fall. The WWE Championship is on the line in the second fall. There's no eliminations. It's a straight triple threat match for both falls. And obviously, I have Roman, the current champion, defending against Karrion Kross and Drew McIntyre. All up, this match goes for about 23.5 minutes. I did the math on my calculator. All up, technically, with what I did right, I've got 151 minutes. So 2.5 hours plus 1 minute, bell to bell of action. And then you can feel the last half an hour to an hour with the entrances and the video packages and the blah, blah, blah. To take it to 3.5 hours. As I said, roughly 3.5 hours. And then the pre-show would be half an hour to make it a 4-hour event all up. That's just how I do it. I think the pre-show should be included in that 4 hours. It is what it is. Maybe it's my ADHD. But anyway. As I said, coin flip. Roman actually walks out first. And for the first time in a long time, knowing that the Bloodline, they're injured. They just got fucking destroyed in War Games. There's no one to help him if he needs. Heyman's trying his best to kind of hype him up as they make their way down. Drew enters second, and then during Cross's entrance, however, Drew just leaps out of the ring, and Drew and Cross just beating the shit out of each other in the entranceway. They end up in the crowd. This causes Roman to let out a sly smirk and breathe a momentary sigh of relief, because when everything was looking bleak, these two guys, as much as they want to be champion, they still want to tear each other apart more than they want to touch Roman. So maybe this is going to work in Roman's favor, right? And Roman starts cutting a promo because it's Roman. Once that confidence hits, he just can't help himself. So he picks up the microphone, and while Cross and Drew are still beating the shit out of each other through the crowd all over the arena, Roman's talking about acknowledge me, blah, 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 I'm the champ, this, that. Whatever, for 2-3 minutes. Eventually, they make their way back to the ring, and the match starts officially. And as soon as the bell rings, Roman's standing in the corner, and again, Drew and Cross straight back to each other, kicking the shit out of each other. Roman's in the corner. He's playing with his hair. He's fucking playing with his beard. He's just being a smug fucking piece of shit, basically.
Just gonna say, take a drink every time John says fucking or fuck.
I'm sorry.
This episode.
I have ADHD. This is every episode. I promise in real life my vocabulary is more extensive.
I love it.
Anywho.
You're always hating on people that in promos that are like, they always fucking...
Swearing for the sake of swearing. I'm gonna fucking rip your head. Shut up. Shut up. No. Insult
Sorry
the
to
man.
interrupt.
Think of something to their character, like just, I'm gonna fuck you up. No, you're not.
I just
You're a little
that.
bitch. You ain't gonna do shit.
That's what I was thinking the whole time. Sorry. You always interrupt me, so I'm
Yes,
like, no,
no,
fucking, I'm getting my
that's
shit
fine.
in.
Anywho.
Getting my shit in.
Drew and Cross back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back, forth and forth. It's a good song. I can't think of what it's called, but it's a good song. Anyway, Cross gets the upper hand. Drew's groggy. He's in the corner. He's rocking, he's reeling, he's selling. Roman's first offense of the match. Superman punch on Karrion Kross. 1, 2, almost gets a sneak win straight away because Drew and Cross are just kicking the shit out of each other, but Drew just manages to get in there, just manages to break it up. And this is where, okay, both men have to take a second. They've registered. Okay, we can't have like a three-way stare-off after all that this is a triple threat match, huh? I don't like you. You don't like me. This guy could beat us both if we're not paying attention.
Yes.
And then there's just like a three-way slugfest, like Drew's hitting Roman, Roman's hitting Cross, just back and forth.
Yes.
Just throwing live rounds. Some of these shots are pretty stiff. Roman cops an uppercut. Cross gets an uppercut. Like, they all tag each other at some point. They've leaving welts on each other's face. It's a heavyweight clash. The crowd's just losing it. Absolutely losing it. Eventually, Cross rolls out of the ring to the floor. He's holding his face and jaw after another Superman punch from Roman. And then Drew just kind of, whatever it is, the crowd's moving on. He shifts that second gear. The momentum shifts, the emotion shifts, and Rue
Who's Rue?
ruined Roman. Drew and Roman, blah, blah, blah. Drew starts bouncing Roman all over the ring, pillar to post. Comes really close to beating Roman, but Cross puts Roman's foot on the rope. Oh, sorry, Scarlett, who is managing Cross, puts the foot on the rope. Can't forget that Scarlett's still sneaking around. I think that's like the only spot that I gave her in that match. My bad. Anyway.
She came out with him out in the entrance.
Yeah.
All that matters.
Eventually, Drew's looking for a future shock DDT, looking like he could have Roman's number because Cross is back on the floor after it's a very brawling type match. It's just a heavyweight style. And you know what I like. Dudes are just smacking each other for the sake of smacking each other, whatever. He looks for the future shock DDT. Fuck me.
DVD.
Roman counters into a Samoan drop, not a Death Valley driver. That's a completely different move. Looks for the future shock DDT. Roman counters into the Samoan drop. Gets a small break. Again, back and forth, back and forth. And about 15 minutes of just pure chaos. Roman's taken 2 claymores at this point. He spent 30 seconds to a minute in the cross jacket submission at various points, respectively. He's been double suplexed through the announce table at ringside because they're like, no, like, I want to beat the shit out of you, you want to beat the shit out of me, but we need to get the big dog out of the way because he ain't going to let that happen, sort of thing. Similar to the Ronda kind of, Shayna thing earlier. It makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like the enemy of my enemy is my friend, like we just said before. Eventually, Roman spears Cross through the barricade. Then back in the ring after 2 spears, Roman finally pins Drew. This is about, as I said, 15, 16, maybe 17 minutes tops. He pins Drew to win the first fall. He thus retaining the Universal Championship. And this is where it gets interesting because it's not elimination or anything like that. Like, it's not, hey, Roman, you've won, leave the match. Roman just goes, no, this is the title that I've held the longest. Roman clutches that championship. Him and Paul Heyman walk up. They climb up. He's battered, he's bruising, but he's still talking about, y'all can have the consolation prize. This is the longest reign of Universal Championship. They acknowledge me. But just basically running his mouth. And people, again, they're chanting asshole and bullshit because Roman has literally stole the title. And although we're guaranteed a second champion, they're like, no, you sly motherfucker. Like, how can you just... you've been this double protector and you're just going to leave that championship. They're like, how can you disrespect the WWE Championship? That is the most prestigious one of the two, realistically, when you look at the lineage. And you're so self-absorbed with this one reign and makes the title look great, realistically, from the Universal Championship. But then a character standpoint, it's like, no, Roman's disrespecting the title in a sense.
The championship, yeah.
So Roman's like, you guys can have your consolation prize. He kind of makes his way, and Drew and Cross kind of, they're beaten and battered. Drew gets locked in the cross jacket. It looks like he's about to fade. Drew fights back. Goes to lock in again. Hits the glass cow kiss. And this just keeps going on. They go for about 5 to 6 minutes all up after Roman's kind of been taken up, constantly going for their finishes and big moves, but the fact that they've had this feud, they're kind of, they're starting to starting to get a rhythm, but eventually Cross goes for the Doomsday Suplex. Drew McIntyre, showing his athleticism, back rolls through, doesn't explode or lands on his feet. Karrion Kross turns around, bang, clean in the middle, Claymore, 1, 2, 3. Crowd at this point, they've forgotten about Roman because, you know, these two have just smacked the shit out of each other for 5-6 minutes afterwards. Huge pop. Drew finally gets that win in front of the crowd, raining down, you deserve it chants and yada, yada, yada. This is where WWE fucked me up because before I wrote this card properly, in my head, I was going to have one Austin Theory run in and do a cash-in because a cash-in, although it makes an official match, I still count in the run-in situation. So he was going to be doing double duty, but he's since lost it before we've recorded this, so fuck my life. As I said, we're going to keep the championships true to what they are now, and I keep their Money in the Bank in that same category as a championship. So instead, Drew is standing over Karrion Kross. The fans are chanting, you deserve it. He even gets a bit of confetti, because why not? You know, he's finally got his moment. The lights go out. They come back on. Carrion's gone. Scarlett's gone. Drew is so confused, like, you know, okay, whatever. Maybe he's just, you know, Drew says some comments in the camera, I guess, you know, he called back into whatever hole he came out of. Or typical Drew humor. You know he's like, he makes the one-off comments, makes some sort of snarky remark, and just goes back to celebrating. More confetti, more you deserve a chance. The lights go off again. A little bit longer this time. And they come back on, and he's not standing behind him, he's not sneaking. Right in front of Drew McIntyre stands a very hungry and determined Bray Wyatt.
Fuck yeah.
They're facing off, and the show literally just ends with Drew holding the title up. They're having a stare down, and the fans are just chanting, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. And that's how the show goes off the air.
Fuck yeah.
And then there's no dark segment. Bray literally just points to the title and walks off because, you know, it is what it is. Build suspense. But
yeah, I like that. I like it.
But now, Mrs. Crossfire, do you want to go first and recap your card first, or do you want me to recap mine first?
I can recap mine first.
Because I usually like you to go first, because one, ladies first, and two, I like to be a generous co-host. Okay. Try my best, at least. And it also gives me a chance to have water, because I'm glad that was fucking closed.
Anyway, okay. So, match 1 was the men's battle royal, where Cody Rhodes took the win.
Yep.
Match 2 was the NXT tag match between Pretty Deadly, which is Kit Wilson and Elton Prince, versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
That still has me like such a random matchup, but now that you've said it, I'm like, make this happen.
And then match 3 was the women's War Games match, where the team underdogs won. So that was Becky, Rhea, Cora Jade, Isla Dawn, and Liv Morgan. And who took the loss was Charlotte, the team captain, Natalia, Ava Raine, Tamina, Elektra Lopez. Mm-hmm. And then for match 4, we had the men's War Games match. And the winners were the team captain, AJ Styles, Austin Theory, Johnny Gargano, and Butch. And who took the loss was Jimmy Uso, Jey Uso, Top Dollar, and Shelton Benjamin. Then for match 5, we had the Raw versus SmackDown Women's Champs. Bianca took the loss to Ronda. And it was where Bianca had to leave... she had to leave Raw and relinquish her title. And Ronda got crowned the baddest in WWE.
Baddest
in WWE.
Nice.
And then we had match 6, which was the men's intercontinental title. I'm way so tired.
Bronson and Gunther.
And,
sweet wrestling Jesus.
And Gunther took the win. And then we had the match 7. Match 7? Yes, match 7. Yeah, my women's Survivor Series match.
See, that was recent, so that one stood straight out.
Where Team Raw won. So that was consisted of Alexa Bliss as the team captain, Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, and Mia Yim versus Emma, Alba Fire, Sarah Logan, and Shotzi. So they took the loss, Team SmackDown. And then we had a winner-takes-all match, and it was a 3-way match between Roman, Bron Breakker, and Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes took the win, pinning Bron Breakker. Mm-hmm. And that was my card. And essentially, Raw won 2-1, because when you kind of look at it, like Alexa, not Alexa, sorry, my bad. I was looking at Alexa's name on the top of the sheet. Bianca lost. Yep. So she lost to SmackDown. And then you had...
Raw won the 4-way tag.
Yeah.
8-man tag, I should say. Or 8-woman tag.
Yeah. And then you had Raw win that one. You had
Cody Rhodes winning the Battle Royal, which technically counts as...
Technically counts as SmackDown.
Okay, so my card was... Match 1, we had the Women's War Games match. It was Team Rhea versus Team Becky. It was Rhea Ripley, Alexa Bliss, Alba Fire, Candice LeRae, and Shotzi versus the 4 Horsewomen and Bianca Belair. Of course, as I mentioned, Sasha Banks, if this was real, was advertised as a mystery partner. Match 2, Raw versus SmackDown, advertised as Edge versus Rey Mysterio. Ended up, I should say that Team Rhea won, by the way, with Alexa pinning Sasha, my bad. Match 2 was meant to be Edge versus Rey Mysterio, of course. Ended up being Dominic versus Rey instead. Dominic pinning his father in a very convincing fashion. Lots of boos. Match 3, United States Championship. Seth Rollins defeats Mustafa Ali to retain the title. Match 4, Survivor Series elimination match. We have the Judgment Day, Finn Balor and Damian Priest, Alpha Academy, and Elias versus the OC, Matt Riddle, and Angelo Dawkins. Finn Balor is the sole survivor for his team. Match 5, Ronda Rousey successfully defends the SmackDown Women's Championship against Shayna Baszler and Sonya Deville in a triple threat match. Match number 6, we have another Survivor Series elimination match. Team SmackDown wins when we have the Hurt Business, Austin Theory and Baron Corbin losing to Imperium, and the Brawling Brutes, Sheamus and Butch, Gunther being the sole survivor there, pinning Bobby Lashley. Match number 7, we had the Men's War Games match. It was Owens, Gargano, New Day versus the Bloodline. KO pins Sammy, mainly because I'm just a fucking mark, and I wanted to find a way to take the Bloodline out of the equation just so that I can have Roman act like a complete coward in this next one once he's won. So yeah,
I took them out of the equation completely. Anyway.
Homewrecker!
Sorry, my bad.
Match number 8, / the main event. It was a 2-fall triple threat match for the WWE and the Universal Championship. We had Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre versus Karrion Kross. Roman wins the first fall, retains the Universal Championship. He hightails it the fuck out of there. Drew McIntyre becomes the new WWE Champion and then has a nice little face-off with Bray Wyatt to end the show. Now I'm going to hit the match of the week real quick. We'll do our predictions. We'll get out of here. By the time we do the predictions, we'll probably be just on 2.5. So that's our usual time anyway. So I think we've done really fucking good. Most of our episodes go for about 2 hours.
Yeah.
When we get on here and we just fucking rant and whatever else. But the match of the week this week is one that I watched a few hours before recording this, and Mrs. Crossfire had never seen it. It's my favourite War Games match of all time. It's nothing fancy and crazy like the modern day ones, but I feel like it still really holds up. It was pissing me off because I couldn't find it because for whatever reason, it's not actually listed as a War Games match on the network, so I had to go and Google what event it was on. And but if you have the WWE network, dial up WCW Wrestle War 1992, and it is a War Games match, despite the fact that it doesn't fucking say it. It's the Dangerous Alliance versus Sting Squadron. We have Stunning Steve Austin. Remember that guy? He'll never amount to anything. Ravishing Rick Rude, Larry Zbyszko, Arn Anderson, and beautiful Bobby Eaton versus Sting, Barry Windham, Dustin Rhodes, Ricky Steamboat, and Nikita Koloff. And as I said, this is looked back on in a lot of eyes, especially mine, as one of the greatest War Games matches of all time. The first two men to enter the match in this particular situation are Steve Austin and Barry Windham. There's a lot of great colour, dare I say juice. I just burped into the microphone. I'm not even going to edit that out. In this matchup, back when blood actually meant something, not just bleeding for the sake of bleeding. Looking at you, AEW. Now the AEW fans can come at me for continuing to shit on them, but pissing me off.
Anyway.
Again, the match of the week this week is a War Games match, despite not being listed as that, at WCW Wrestle War 1992, the Dangerous Alliance versus Sting's Squadron. But Mrs. Crossfire, our official production, as we record this tomorrow will be SmackDown, so they may add more matches, they may not. We're meant to be finding out who the final member of the Women's War Games match is. It's all speculation at the moment. If we're wrong, we're wrong. Whatever. We're dropping this tomorrow as we record this, so it goes out a day early. As a preview for Survivor Series on Sunday as we record this. But, as I said, we've got 5 matches. That's all we can go off. We can speculate, here and there, but, we can only go off what we've got. And they've given us 5 matches thus far, but they'll probably add a match on the pre-show or an extra match. As I said, it wouldn't surprise me if Gunther ended up doing an open challenge or something to that effect. But kicking it off, I'm going to go through the main matches backwards. I probably should have built the card, so it's like boom, 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 then the main, but whatever. The first match, Mrs. Crossfire, is the men's War Games match. We have the Bloodline, all 5 members, versus all 3 members of the Brawling Brutes, Drew McIntyre and Kevin Owens. Who is your prediction for that match?
Bloodline.
I think that the Brawling Brutes are going to get the win here.
Oh, okay.
And I think that either Sami Zayn's going to take the pin, or I floated this idea to you before KO was revealed, because KO is still technically dealing with an injury. I think KO could even... I think the Brawling Brutes win. That's my official prediction. But speculation here, I think we could see KO get injured, quote unquote, from doing some big spot. He'll get a big moment to shine. So he gets stretched out, because obviously if you leave the War Games cage, because WWE doesn't have a roof on theirs like the classic ones, it's considered a forfeit, unlike a regular cage match, right? So I think KO gets stretched out, and then because Sami is still his best friend, which even KO said that, look, I don't agree with what he's doing with the Bloodline, but he's still my best friend, he's still my brother, but brothers fight, basically. I think that's Sami's loophole to leave the match, because he's trying to care for KO, right? So the referees let him get out because he's trying to take care of KO. But again, that's all speculation. I think that just in this situation, you look at who's in the match. You've got both the Usos, you've got Sami, you've got Solo. I mean, to see Roman take the pin, because he hasn't been pinned in how long? This would be a great spot to have a Drew or a Sheamus, or please let it be KO. Please let KO pin Roman. But this would be a perfect spot for Roman to finally take that pin, because it's a tag match. He's not going to lose the titles. He's still going to have the titles. But it's that one wrinkle. He hasn't been pinned since December 2019 when he lost to fucking Baron Corbin.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, that doesn't count because he's been away for COVID and this and that. It's like, no, it's still a fact that he hasn't been beaten in that long. Yeah, okay, it was a couple months he wasn't there and he wasn't competing, but that doesn't change the fact that he hasn't been pinned in 3 years.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It'll be 3 years next month. Like, I feel like this... I don't think he will. I think I think Drew McIntyre gets the pin on one of the Usos, or probably Sami, to be honest, because Roman has actually put so much trust in Sami Zayn. But I think I could rant, but I think the Brawling Brutes and Drew and KO officially get the winner.
Okay.
Women's War Games match. We have Damage Control, Nikki Cross, Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair, Alexa, Asuka, Mia Yim, and a mystery partner. Who do you think the mystery partner is going to be? Because there's a lot of rumors right now, and the one thing I hate about the dirt sheets is 9 out of 10 times in this day and age, when there is a rumor, 9 out of 10 times it ends up being fucking correct. The rumor currently, I don't know if you've seen it, so spoiler alert, possibly to you, is that Becky Lynch will be the mystery person revealed on tomorrow's episode of SmackDown.
Maybe.
I was thinking...
One checks out.
I was thinking Candice LeRae, because she did have that little bit of back and forth with damage control when she first came in the first few weeks, but I'm like, why would they reveal that on SmackDown when Candice is technically a Raw star? But I guess, heading into the pay-per-view, it doesn't really matter. So I Becky is probably highly likely, but I think my prediction for the partner anyway will be Candice. Who do you think is going to be the partner before we go to the official predictions? If I'm wrong about the partner, shit happens.
I think it's either going to be, as much as I hate it, Lacey Evans, or...
Yeah, well, she's been training like her ass off and she just disappeared. And
another person, Dana Brooke.
I would love to see Dana Brooke get that moment.
And then you know why
have
I
her
say
be
that?
have her be the last person that comes out. Well, she's not going to be like the mystery now because they're announcing it, but have her entrance into War Games either have her be the first one or the last one, and make it mean something.
And see, you know why I say that? Is there's history there because she was getting beaten up not long ago by Dakota and them, right?
Yes.
Out the back. And then now Nikki has gone and trashed her title, the 24/7 title, like it's nothing.
And Dana, like, to her credit, she worked her ass off with that title. She really fucking did.
Yeah.
For people saying it's a joke title, it's this or that. It doesn't matter. The amount of work that woman put in, it deserves some fucking respect.
Well, the passion she put into it for just that title was amazing.
That's what I mean. Like, the amount of work that she put in just for that. People say, oh, it's a joke, it's just that. She was like, okay, my job is to get this title over. And she busted her ass.
Yeah.
Half the time she wasn't actually wrestling. It was just backstage segments or clips on social media. And most of the time, just house shows is where they were doing most of the 24/7 stuff. It was basically a piss break at house shows.
Yeah.
And she was making the most out of it.
And that's what I mean. I just feel like psychology's telling me that's where it's going to go. But I don't know. But I'm thinking...
So official prediction for the actual winner. And I guess whoever the partner is could possibly change the factor. But on paper, who do you think wins between Team Damage Control and Team Bianca?
I'm going to probably go for Damage Control, actually.
Interesting. Is there a particular reason for that, or...?
Not really. It's just mainly, like, I'm just thinking, because they've still got the titles.
Yeah, they've got the tag titles,
to make them still look strong. I think they're going to still have them for that bit longer. And I think that's why I'm going for that route.
This match, for me, was honestly the hardest one on the whole card. Because I looked at it from a couple of different angles, right? Like, obviously, she's beaten her in the past, but within this current feud, Bianca has not pinned Bayley.
True.
Bayley come back. She pinned her in a tag match at Clash in the Castle. I always said Clash in the Capital again. I do that every fucking time. Shout out CP Dub. She beat her at Clash at the Castle. She pinned her in a non-title match on Raw. Bianca beat Bayley in a ladder match. She beat Bayley in a last woman standing match.
Yep.
In this feud, she has still yet to beat Bayley, and that's her big crawl, that although she has the championship. So I'm like, what better way than to have, Bianca pin the heel? But again, like, if you're going to do this, they end up doing that with Roman, don't do it with Bayley and Bianca, because the Roman one, it would be more impactful because it's going on longer. But I'm like, that'd be the smart place to do it. But at the same time, I'm like, no, fuck it. Have Bayley pin the team captain. My official prediction is Damage Control. And the reason for that is, and it's probably more wishful thinking, but I say Bayley pins Bianca, setting up one final title match, possibly at the Rumble. And that's where she finally pins Bianca for the title.
Right, okay.
And, me being a Mark, I could go on a Mark-A-Palooza rant about how then Sasha Banks is in the Rumble and you have Sasha and Bayley have one match one-on-one at WrestleMania because they've had all these bangers, never gone one-on-one at Mania. Maybe have a fucking... They've had a 30-minute Iron match, fucking give them a 60-minute Iron match at WrestleMania. I don't know. That's completely unrelated, but I feel like Bayley pins Bianca, which sets her up for the one final shot, and she finally wins. Because Bianca, to this point, and this is where, even admittedly, you kind of fell off Bianca for a bit. Like, you were still a fan of her, but the segments were just like, Matt, because she was just facing all these people and winning with no real storyline. So to give Bianca that one real thorn in her side that she's never really had, that she loses the title, and okay, you can revisit that in a couple months' time. Like, you can have Bianca build her way back up. You can even build it all the way to at SummerSlam, right?
Yeah.
And I know people are complaining that, you know, it's only this select handful of people that have had the belt in the last few years. It's Becky, it's Charlotte, you know, Bayley had the SmackDown women's title for the longest run, but build it up to where Bianca finally pins Bayley at SummerSlam next year to get the title. Like, you could have this whole build and it would work so fucking well. Like, even Bianca winning Money in the Bank, maybe even turning heel to pin Bayley, or if you wanted to keep her as a babyface, wins Money in the Bank, I'm cashing in at SummerSlam, fuck your number one contendership matches, this is my spot, everyone else back of the line sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because up till now, the only person that's ever really won by announcing Money in the Bank ahead of time is Rob Van Dam. Everyone else that's done it has failed. So having Bianca not only be the first woman to be like, I'm announcing my cash in for this event, go on back and forth, finally pins Bayley. I don't know. Again, that's a rant. I don't want to go. I don't want to go too far ahead, but I think Damage Control wins. I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that.
Okay.
So currently we've got you said the Bloodline.
Yeah, I said Bloodline, Damage Control.
Okay. So at the end of the day, somehow, some way, we're going to have at least one prediction that's different. That's good. Finn Balor versus AJ Styles.
AJ.
I also went AJ. What's your reasoning for AJ?
I don't know. I just feel like they're starting to give him a bit more of a push. And I just feel like, just from that standpoint, from a booking standpoint, that it makes sense.
Yeah, well, I looked at it as they've only ever had that one match, right? And Finn went over. That was 2017 TLC, which I showed you. Fantastic fucking match, right? And I feel like being Survivor Series, they're probably honestly going to top that. But if you look at the OC come back, right, and everyone's already saying that the OC are buried because Judgment Day keeps coming out on top. They're fucking heels.
Yeah.
You look at it from a casual fan's perspective, or the kids, which is their main audience, and that's not a bad thing. They want the good guys to keep fighting, keep coming back. AJ beating Finn one-on-one, proving that you ain't shit these days without your boys and Rhea, without your fam backing you up. In a one-on-one situation, I beat you. And then, on paper, they've had 2 singles matches ever. They're 1 and 1. You can stretch that motherfucker out. You can put AJ Styles versus Finn Balor at WrestleMania. Because that's not far out of the room. You can build that through the Rumble. The OC and the Judgment Day are in the Rumble at the same time. And da-da-da-da-da. Whatever the fuck happens, they're both in the same Elimination Chamber match. And one eliminates the other and blah, blah, blah. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But one-on-one, they'd still be equal. You can even make it a 2 out of 3 falls match or something to that effect, right? But I think AJ.
Yeah. I'm with you on that one.
Ronda Rousey versus Shotzi. This is an interesting one. My friend Kai, shout out to Kai when he does listen to this, he messaged me earlier saying he thinks that Ronda will retain, but he thinks that Shotzi's going to win via DQ. What is your take on that? Because, real quick, I think it's a throwaway match. I think Ronda does win. Yeah. What's your take?
I think Ronda as well.
As I said, I usually let you go first with the predictions, but that was my take following on from what Kai said. I think Ronda wins.
Yeah, I do as well. Yeah.
So then, out of the 5 matches that they've announced, let's see how we differ on this one. They have United States Championship. Seth Rollins is defending against Bobby Lashley and Austin Theory's in a triple threat match. I still feel, and again, maybe it's wishful thinking because I predicted this to you a month ago. I said it was going to be an elimination 4-way. Maybe if it's not an elimination, I still feel like that Ali is somehow going to be added either tomorrow or even on the pre-show to Survivor Series. They'll be like, you're in the match. I feel like somehow, some way, Ali's going to be added to it to make it a 4-way rather than a triple threat. But tell me what your prediction is before I go too far into
See, I don't know.
Because this could go any of those 3 guys. Like,
I could see it going
Not
anyway.
quite as hard as the women's War Games match, at least for me. But either of those three guys, the role they're on, Theory's getting a little more.
Yeah.
Theory losing his Money in the Bank cash-in could potentially be the best thing that has happened to him in his career thus far.
Yeah.
This is being more serious. Lashley's at this awkward stage where he's acting like a heel, but he's still over as fuck. He's a tweener. But Seth, again, was a heel, and his gimmick has just turned him babyface because of the performances and shit that he's putting out. Like, any of these three guys, and even Ali, if they do add him, could be the win. But what do you see? Do you see Ali being added? Do you see... Who do you see winning?
Possibly I could see him being added, but I don't see him winning if he gets added. I don't know why. I don't. I don't know why. Like, I kind of want him to win because he deserves that push. Like, he's an amazing star, but I just don't feel like he's gonna win if he does get added. But in saying
if you look at it as a triple threat though, just Bobby, Seth. I almost said Finn. Bobby, Seth, Theory.
See, I don't see Theory. I'll eliminate him straight away. I don't know why. I just don't feel like he's there yet. As much as he's very talented, he's getting there, he's building.
I love Seth, but it felt like the only reason they took the title off Bobby was literally just so that Brock Lesnar could win that match at fucking Crown Jewel without him being the new US champion. Because obviously he fucked off. And, they could have just gone, here's a non-title match, but on that type of stage, it's like, no, if you're the champ, you should defend it. I think that's the only reason they took it off him was just so he could take that L to Brock. So does Seth, in effect, be a transitional champion, which people say is buried? Look at the performance Seth's had just in the last couple of weeks since winning that title. Yeah. If he drops it straight back to Bobby, it doesn't really matter whether Bobby pins Theory or whether Bobby actually pins Seth himself. It wouldn't matter. So who do you think? Who do you think, at the end of the day, gun to your head, who's winning? Seth, Bobby, Theory?
Fuck, like it's hard.
Well, you said you were really...
I'm down to Bobby and Seth.
You said you were taking Theory out. Sorry, who's winning between Seth and Bobby?
I kind of want Seth to win, but I think it's probably going to be Bobby. Yeah, I think it's going to be Bobby.
Okay, well, there you go. Now we have two predictions, at least, that are going to be different. I think unfortunately, as much as I want wishful thinking to get Ali added, I think it's going to stay as a triple threat. But I think that because through all this, and this is reminding me a lot of the Attitude Era in some ways, because every guy from the bottom to the top, whether it was a good storyline or a bad storyline, everyone had something going on, which is what made the characters stand out more, because you were able to invest, right? Throughout all of this, you've had a feud between Seth and Theory, feud between Seth and Bobby, feud between Seth and Ali, and then they've all intertwined with each other as well, right? And the thing that I'm loving the most out of all of it is this little mini feud that's happening kind of in the background. It's not completely in the background, but it's so subtle that I think it's brilliant. Is the main one is Ali and Lashley, because although Ali's tangled with Seth a couple of times and he's actually did wrestle Theory and had a great match with Theory, the one that stands out is Bobby Lashley keeps fucking destroying Ali.
Yep.
But he won't stay down. He keeps coming back. He's begging for Lashley to give him more. Give me everything you've got. I will get back up every fucking time. It's the perfect underdog story. And I think somehow, some way, Ali will get involved in that match. And he's going to cost Bobby the match, causing Seth to retain, setting up a proper little mini feud between... or at least continuing the feud between Ali and Bobby. And even if Ali doesn't win a match against Bobby, that's his comeuppance at least. He's cost him the title. He got one back, right?
Yeah. See, me looking at that makes me think that Bobby's going to win even more. And that's how Ali's going to win.
Ali beats Lashley. Like, Lashley keeps ducking him for a month or two. Stretch it out. Dude, you could imagine... Again, right, we're in November. You could have Lashley win. You could stretch it out and have Ali jump through hoops all the way till WrestleMania. He gets a WrestleMania moment by winning the US title against Lashley. You could do that. And I'd be fucking here for it. But I think official prediction, just to kind of ramp it up a bit more, he just costs Lashley the match.
Okay.
Just to piss Lashley off even further. And Seth retains.
Okay.
So So I've got the Brutes, Damage Control, AJ, Ronda, Seth. You've got the Bloodline, Damage Control, AJ, Ronda, Bobby.
Yep.
Okay. So now this will be interesting when we do next week's episode to kind of, whether you jump on with me or not, it's up to you depending on your schedule. I'll talk about it regardless about, just quick reactions to Survivor Series, predictions, how many did I get right, how many did you get right, etc., etc., etc. But we're literally just under 2.5 hours right now. As I do this, it's gonna go just over. So we've honestly, we timed it really good, but
yeah,
I think we should kick it into the outro. I'm still blown away by some of those matches that you threw at me, considering the fact that you just threw them together on a fucking limb too.
Yeah. I feel like if I had more time, you could imagine where
I'm going to call you out on the pod. You're like, oh, look, this is going to be shit. People are going to make fun of me. No. My mind is fucking blown.
I thought people would be like, especially with the Bray thing, I thought they'd be like a bit judgy.
Yeah, why would you throw Bray out the first match?
But if you look at it, it made sense. He was eyeing off Gacy. Yeah. That's the only reason he was in that match.
If anything, Bray's Survivor Series moment was he teased at least getting a new member, but unfortunately, it's not going to be Joe Gacy. Yeah. Yet, maybe. Who knows? Stay tuned.
Could be one of his ex teammates from an
Bray Wyatt recruiting fucking Ava Raine.
Yes.
But I think we'll jump into the outro now. As I said, I'm really fucking happy with that. But I'm keen to watch Survivor Series and just sit back and relax and just be fucking marks together, because it's been a while since you and I have actually been able to watch a pay-per-view live. I think the last one we watched live, you kind of half tuned in for Clash at the Castle, because we randomly both woke up and I was like, oh, well,
yeah, and it was early, and then I had to go to work.
I was like, well, the show's on, so do you want me to just chuck it on for background noise? And then I sat there and watched pretty much most of it. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in to episode 74 of Courting Conversation. This was the third installment of the Mark-A-Palooza series. The next one will probably be the Royal Rumble. I'm probably going to call in Steve for that. Maybe Mrs. Crossfire again or Atticus Slane. I'm trying to figure out numbers to how I could do a 4-way one, but I don't know if that's going to work. So possibly it'd be either myself. I don't know. I might even check on Atticus Slane's, availability. We'll probably just do the three of us again and get Steve for another one. But he will definitely be in a Mark-A-Palooza one at some form. And of course, if you haven't listened to last week's episode with referee Steve, go back and check that out. But the song of the week this week was Survivor by All Good Things. The match of the week was the Dangerous Alliance versus Sting Squadron inside War Games at WCW Wrestle War 1992. That was 2 years before I was even born. Good Lord. There is still currently a sale on at Pro Wrestling Tees as I record this, and it will still be active for another day if you're listening to this tomorrow when it first drops. So click all the links in the description for 20% off. Of course, all my social media links are there as well. All the podcast platforms are there. Like, subscribe, favorite, 5 stars, whatever the people on podcasts and YouTube and all the shit say. I'm not a professional. Just listen to my shit, please. If you're so inclined, Amazon wishlist is there. I've had people hit me up about it. That's why I added it. Is what it is. I don't want to hand out, but meh. I am still selling a handful of wrestling memorabilia, as well as a random Dragon Ball Z pop as well, because I ended up with a duplicate. All of the info for that is on my Instagram. Hit me up in my DMs. We can sort something out. The links to the MXW show on January 28th will be in the description as well. They've actually just debuted a new logo today. It looks fantastic. It's purple. It's beautiful. ICW All Fired Up, February 4th. Link for that as well. But yeah, I am the essential John L. Crossfire. With me was my lovely wife, Mrs. Crossfire, and I still can't believe sitting there like, oh, this is going to be shit. People are going to make fun of me. And within like 3 hours, you've threw that together and all of it circled back to real life stuff as well as still fitting into... Blew my fucking mind. I am the essential John L. Crossfire. With me is Mrs. Crossfire. You guys were just caught
in conversation. Shakalaka laka.